Hey guys, it's the Valenti podcast again. I think it's episode 19, so there's one more episode until we've hit our goal of 20, breaking into the top tier of podcasts.
Then you'll never see us again.
They just disappear off the face of the earth. Well, today we've got a very special guest, Mitch, right here.
Thank you very much, mate. Special. I like that.
So Mitch, short for Mitchell, Mitch Little.
Yeah, Mitch Little.
You go by Mitch Little Academy.
Mitch Little
on
Academy.
your
Yeah,
Instagram.
that's where you can find me on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not huge on TikTok. I don't spend a lot of time there, but Instagram, Facebook, that's my main jam. Yeah, a lot of social media.
Perfect.
But no, thank you for having me on today, guys.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We want to start getting more guests on, so it's good to. And we've met a lot of people, especially at Rudd Park as well. So that's where we met you, where we train.
Yeah, well, that was. I've gone down there every now and then just to do a few pull-ups, and to be honest, I've seen guys like you doing some pretty amazing things, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I need to know how to do a muscle up. It's crazy. Like, I've trained for 22, 23 years, and a muscle up is something that I've never even really. To that day, I'd never attempted one. And I think I saw you doing one. I was like, no, that's just like far cooler than a traditional pull-up, and they're starting to feel a little bit lighter, I must admit. The thing that, since I started doing a little bit of Cali stuff, and I'm talking very minor, I think about it now. Do you know what I mean? Because like, I've lifted weights for 22 years and now dabbling in the Cali sort of stuff. It's like going straight back to level one. I'm very comfortable in the gym. You name it, I've done it. I know how to do it. But Cali is like, you've got to start again. And I think the progressions are really cool as well.
Yeah, because as you progress, you unlock new moves. It's like, and then you unlock something new, and then it's like exciting all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And I was actually, funnily enough, I was surprised how sore I was.
yeah.
Like,
You mentioned that a lot.
I was a bit embarrassing to admit it, but I was like 10 out of 10 sore for a week.
Really?
Like,
From
serratus,
just spamming muscle ups.
mate. Yeah, and like serratus, abs, like deep up underneath my pec sort of stuff.
How
Like,
would you describe the pain? Is it like the same pain you get from doing like a Tom Platz leg workout? Or is it more like a bit of cramp here and there?
It felt quite deep. You get that little bit of DOMS and it's just sort of surface sort of stuff. This was like deeper, sort of ingrained pain. Ask my wife, mate. Like, I was banging on about it for like a week. I think I wanted a pat on the back. I didn't get it. She's just like, I've actually heard enough of you whinging about that. But I was extremely surprised, and just all those sort of accessory muscles too, like rear delts, all that, just nailed me. Very humbling, but you know what I mean?
Well, it's a new stimulus, so you can kind of expect that with most sports. I'm at a point like most of us now, we can train every day, and we very rarely feel soreness.
Yeah.
Like last night, we went to the gymnastics center and did
saw
like a
that.
type of training that we hadn't done in a while because I was injured for the last like 2 months or so. So I'm just getting back into it, and I woke up today. I'm like, damn, I'm sore for once in a while.
Shock set.
It's been a
To
while.
wake the muscle up all over again.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like, when you guys train, do you ever go in and do reps? So like, obviously going to the gym for me, it's like sets of this, X amount of reps. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I find that Cali's more like hit a move, chill out for a bit, fully recover. So it doesn't seem as rep based.
It can be. You can probably say more
I've gone
about
to the
it.
point where I've learnt the move and now I can rep it. So I've learnt the hard like technique and maneuvers that are required for, say, example, a planche. And now I can go on to like building strength in it through a bodybuilding kind of style, like 3 sets of 8,
Yeah.
all that kind of vibe. But in the beginning, it's very laid back. Watch your videos, try a different technique, rest, and try again until you get it perfected, and then you start adding different parts of it, and then building it up. But like going back to what you said, you tried doing muscle ups, and then how long did it take for you to get a muscle up?
It's like your third go or something ridiculous.
I think so, but like, I would really like to think that 22 years of lifting is going to have some sort of transfer effect into the Cali stuff. And on reflection and breaking down the move a little bit more. So like, if a muscle up, there's very rarely a week where I wouldn't do, for example, like a lat isolation movement on a reasonably heavy weight. So I suppose that can simulate that kind of pulling up over the bar type thing. So I have always trained a little bit with athleticism in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I don't see the purpose of being just like
Pure bodybuilding.
Yeah. I've always done like pistol squats. I've always wanted to be able to hit at least 15 pull-ups no matter what my weight is. So it hasn't always just been pure bodybuilding. There has been that level of athleticism, because I think a lot of people who go to the gym now, they just think about building a physique. They don't think about mobility, longevity. It's just very tunnel vision. And I think when you do that, you don't really become like a fully rounded athlete, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you went and did the muscle up. Obviously, you had to like take a step back and review what you were actually doing before you jumped on the bar again.
Yeah.
And so then you got to a point where, like, I just see you in a story just repping them out now.
That felt good, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one, I was like, I hope the boys see that. I'm very proud of those ones.
Yeah, they've got a lot cleaner for sure.
Yeah, I suppose it's just connecting the dots and understanding a little bit more about how the whole movement pattern works. Because initially, like when you look at it, it's like, well, what's going on there? But it's just about switching on certain muscle groups and, yeah, I suppose just perfecting it. But I do find, like, I went down the other day and just like anything, like I was feeling a little tired. I didn't eat that much, and I found like, okay, it's actually just like the gym. If I go into the gym and I haven't eaten enough or I've had a bad night's sleep, I felt it straight away. Like going from being able to like 6 or 8 reps, 3 when I was fatigued, I was like, man, I'm cooked. So very, very similar to the gym in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all good fun. But I see the stuff you guys do, it's like next level. Do you think that anybody can get to, say, like the planche and everything that you...
Yeah.
Is that correct? Is that what you
Yep,
call it?
planche. Yep, that's correct.
Can anybody do that? Because me looking at it, I would say no. I don't think that every individual can do it.
What?
Anyone can do it.
I would say, yeah,
Anyone
it's
can do it.
definitely
Like
possible,
your arm
but
around
it's
me.
a very small minority of people that will actually get there just because of the sheer grit and determination you need to
Like
actually
Blake.
get there. It's
I'll
like
always use Blake as an
repetition
example.
over and over and seeing absolutely no progress, but just trusting yourself that it's eventually going to work. And then after months and months of doing the same thing where you're not even seeing any progress, you finally see a tiny little bit of progress, and then you get excited, and then you're like, all right, let's keep doing it. It's going to keep working. And then you might hit a plateau, and then you're like, all right, let's try something different. It's just like constant trial and error. And yeah, it's pretty painful learning.
But Blake
but-
has a page called Daily Calisthenics on TikTok, and he's started like, when did you start?
This year.
This year.
Are you
Like,
Well, no,
12
when
months in, or?
I started calisthenics in November of 2022.
Okay, I was going to say
Year
like
and
a
a
week
bit.
into the
So
year,
I'm
he's
like
doing
a
one.
year,
That's-
like a year and 2 months in to training Cali. But I started my TikTok thing at the start of this year. I'm posting
Right.
my training every single day.
Yeah,
I film every set.
that's cool. So you can
I
see
post-
like the
post
full...
every single thing, every single set that I do every day.
That's so good that you guys can do that. And I probably feel old saying this, but like those sort of resources weren't available to me. Like I see guys in their 20s now making these really cool reels where they've got like their transition of their either their physique or their strength. Like back when I started training,
There's nothing.
I was
yeah.
playing Snake
There's
on my
pros and
phone.
cons.
It was Nokia 3315. So I don't have any old training videos. I don't have any old training pictures. It's probably only now that like I'm in social media a bit more that I actually have got a couple videos of me doing something. But it's cool that you can do that because it's inspiring to look back at where you started. Because sometimes you forget. Like sometimes you genuinely forget like where you started to where you are now, and to look back at
Yeah.
that and be like, well, I've actually done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I've
funny.
done really well.
It's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that because the other day I was like really down because I had impingement for a few months. So I was a solid plateau. I'm like, man, I used to be able to do this, and now, you know, I've regressed a little bit in the planche. And so I was just reminiscing, looking at my older videos where I was a bit stronger. And as soon as I watch it, I'm like, damn, like gave me a bit of inspiration.
You
And, like, I
inspire
went and
yourself.
did a set after that, and it was like way stronger for some weird reason. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You
I got this
boosted
bit of
yourself
this
up.
little bit of motivation in me. So I was like, yeah, I love to record as much as I can because looking back at it is like so good to see.
And it's also good, like if you record yourself, it's really good to perfect your technique as well.
Yep.
Like I know even for me, I do like heaps of exercise demonstrations and whatnot with my clients. And even though I've done this for so long, I can feel myself doing like a squat or a row or something and be like, oh, you're kind of a little off the mark there. So you can actually critique yourself, which is kind of cool because I think what makes fitness really interesting is that you are never like, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
You always take little steps back, little steps forward, but there's always something new that you can do, which I think is what makes it so addictive.
Yeah.
Particularly for Cali, because I see Cali as like, where does it actually end?
Yeah.
Like, what's the crazy stuff that's going to be coming up over the next few years
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
you guys?
What you just said about critiquing yourself in the gym
Yeah.
with your exercises, think about that with calisthenics multiplied by a factor of 100.
I can imagine.
Like the skill aspect involved in doing calisthenics moves is so predominant.
Way more
that
variables.
It's almost impossible to master a move like something like a planche if you're not reviewing your technique
Yeah.
with videos like all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is exactly what Jordan said. Like he said that his strength improved from watching it and getting inspired, but I have no doubt as well that watching his set from before would have reminded him of cues and things that he was using back then to get him to that level that he then, whether consciously or subconsciously, employed to then get back to somewhere near that level again in his next set.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like really heavy.
Yeah.
The skill aspect really heavy in
Yeah,
Cali.
no, I know it's probably a little bit different now. There's tripods all throughout the gym, and there's a right and wrong time to do it. Cali's a bit different because you're most time outside, but definitely encourage anybody to like film their progress or their exercises for the right intentions.
Yeah.
Not to like post it and be like, how good is that? But like, you know, make sure that you're critiquing yourself and getting better. And that's what filming yourself doing exercise can do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I see on your Instagram, you're a big time filmer. Like,
Huge filmer.
yeah. Jordan always says, "Look at what Mitch is doing. You should bring our phones to the shopping center and just like film ourselves." Like, what's the story behind that?
They're entertaining as well. You just
Yeah,
wanna
look,
watch.
I mean, obviously social media is it's massive now. And to be completely honest, if you had have asked me about social media a few years ago, I wasn't really that big into it. In fact, I was probably someone who'd be like, God, give it a rest, guys. But at the end of the day, to really get your message out of your brand or your beliefs or what you want out of the industry, you have to be present on social media. You know, there's no more yellow
You
pages.
got to adapt.
You've got to adapt, but I think you've got to do it in the right way too. I see a lot of people now with social media doing it for the wrong reasons. And I can admit that once upon a time, I was probably one of them, posting things that I thought were cool. People are going to love seeing me do this. Whereas now my intention with my social media is, how can I provide content, information that is going to help people, okay? Back in the day, I was just stroking my own ego. Do you know what I mean? Now it's like, what problems can I solve for people? How can I help people? And it's so much more organic and people connect with a lot more. Yeah. But in regards to like taking my camera into the supermarket and stuff like that, I think when I was at school, I was a visual learner, okay? Teacher might say something, I'm like, sir, can you like show me? No, Mitch, I'm just going to... No, you trust me, you have to physically show me or I'm not going to understand it. So now if I'm talking to somebody about carbohydrates or a product at the shops, why not take them to the shops with me? A, it's more entertaining. B, you've got the visual experience. And C, you're going to absorb the information so much more. It's like a sensory overload. You can't not absorb what I'm telling you. And that's just what I've found to be more inspiring and interesting for people to learn. And it's good fun. People see me cruising around the shops with my camera. They do get a little bit freaked out sometimes, but what do you do? It's actually quite unsettling for myself how comfortable I've got talking to myself in public with the camera.
That's good. That's good because I feel like that'd be something that's hard to develop.
You know what? At the end of the day, you can't. Well, think of it like a muscle up or a planche. You're not going to go into it half-heartedly, are you? You're going to fail. It's not going to. The outcome's not going to be good. Same thing goes with like being confident with producing content. You just have to. I just walk into the shops and be like, I'm doing it. Like, this is what I'm doing. People see me, they don't care. They'll even say g'day or hey, I watch you, and it's like, thank you so much, high five. Like, you've just got to be confident in everything that you do. But in saying that, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to feel confident straight away. But the more you do something, it just starts to become second nature.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to go in half-assed. People will see it. I want to be all nervous, like, oh, you make me uncomfortable. You need to really, be confident. But it takes time. It takes practice. It doesn't
So
it?
just so everyone's aware what you actually do full time. So you're a coach.
Yeah.
You'd say you specialize in nutrition
I don't
or
want to
fat loss.
I don't even want to say that I specialize in nutrition. I think what I specialize in is showing people a more simplistic approach to, yes, maintaining a healthy weight, but just making sure that they do it in a fashion that's not short term. I'll always say to my clients, like, if you feel like you're on a diet, short lived. Okay. You've got to wake up every single day and just feel like what you're doing is just a comfortable lifestyle that you're following that promotes a result that you want to achieve. I've never woken up ever in my life and thought, oh God, this diet sucks. When's it end? I just wake up and do my thing, enjoy my food, enjoy my training. And it's just lucky that the outcome is like good longevity.
Yeah.
So many people do a form of exercise they hate to burn off yesterday's calories. How miserable is that?
That is.
I've
Like-
never
like-
been
like-
able to relate. I used to be a PT myself like a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And just the way people would drag themselves around in the gym, like, oh, this sucks. It's like,
Like, why are you here? Like, why
Yeah.
are you here? If you don't like the gym, why are you here?
and it was hard for like fat loss clients, especially were hard because I couldn't really relate to them. Like, I can lose weight very easily. And I've always loved training. Even before calisthenics, I trained weights in the gym.
Yeah.
And I even loved it then. Just like having goals and getting stronger, noticing progress. Like I've always loved it and developing skills, even like gymnastics, calisthenics, whatever it might be, skateboarding back in the day. I always loved my training and my exercise. But then I see these people and it's like they just absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
And it's like I have to somehow relate to them to inspire them or motivate them.
For sure. But, I think now so many people are misled through fitness. They think that the best way to achieve a result is by following the most painful, the most horrible path. They've got to get up every day and do a 15-kilometer run before work. They've got to follow a diet that they don't like because the more painful it is, the better their result. And when I talk to my clients, and it sounds like I'm trying to be a cheesy salesman, but I'll always say to them that you can actually achieve a better result by doing less work and by doing something that you enjoy. If you don't like going to the gym, do something you like. What do you like? Do you like playing tennis? Do you like playing... I don't know. Like the form of exercise that you choose is meant to be there to make you feel physically and mentally good, not just as a punishment to do something. And this is the vicious cycle that most people who are struggling with motivational weight are stuck in. You know what I mean? Like you guys, you wouldn't go down to the bars every single day if you hated it. You're going down there because you're getting fulfillment out of it every single time you're doing it. You're feeling good. And that's the best way to achieve anything. 100%.
It helps as well when you attach other things to it as
Yeah.
well. Like if you're doing exercise and you're doing it with people, you turn it into a social thing. I know for sure, like especially in like the female community, they love that thing
Yep.
more so than men. Like men love it too, don't get me wrong, but for females, like they're really, really they tend to be really, really social. They love their social thing. So when they exercise together and they have like their walking groups or their running groups, and there's heaps of them down here that I've seen going.
Yoga classes, spin classes.
Yeah, all the classes, they're all full of women.
Sisterhood.
Yeah, well, because it's creating a community, and
Exactly.
so many people are actually looking for like a community. I think we all are, like in a sense, we're all looking for something. Like even this right here, this is a community based.
Well, that's why we love it so much as well. Like we love doing calisthenics, but for me, the reason I got into it so quickly was because I went to Meadowbank Mondays, which Isaac organised. It was a meetup in Sydney.
Yeah,
And there was like, the first couple times I went, there was like 100 people there.
yeah,
And I had no clue what calisthenics was. Not a single clue. I couldn't even do a muscle up.
yeah.
And I was like this skinny kid. I just walked in and I was like so nervous because I was way out of my comfort zone. But as soon as I got to know everyone, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
And that's the cool thing about it. Yeah. And I think like even like I said, I've trained my whole life. Okay. I've been in gyms my whole life. And just that, you know what, the afternoon that I actually came down to do some pull-ups, the reason I went to Burleigh to the bars is because I work at home. I was having quite a stressful day. To be honest, I was like in my head. You know, you have those days where you're like just a bit of negative self-talk. Rah. So I said to my wife, I'm like, oh, I'm getting out of this house, hey? Like, and she was probably like, thank God, like, get away from me. Anyway, coming down there and then doing some pull-ups and like chatting with you boys, and you show me a few things. I drove home and I'm like on the phone, I'm like, man, I'm buzzing. Like I'm talking to my wife, I'm like, man, I feel good. It's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah. And I was talking to these young guys and they showed me how to do some muscle ups, and I was just buzzing. And I think the cool thing that I took from that session was Cali seems to be a little bit more social. Gyms, for the most part, can sometimes traditionally be a little bit shruggy, bit of a show,
Few egos.
not so much chatting. So I did really appreciate that kind of, I don't know, it was just fresh.
It's the
Felt
it's the thing
nice.
about being
Felt
outdoors
nice. It
as
put me
well.
in a good mood. It turned my like shit day into a good day. So there you go. You boys helped me out.
How good. How good.
I always like to think of calisthenics as like a hunt.
As a hunt.
Yeah, as a hunt.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Scaring me,
So
mate.
out
You
of
can never,
pocket.
you can never guess what this guy's going to say or where he's going.
He's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
bottomless
Right.
pockets.
Because
The amount of
like
shit he pulls out
humans
of them.
throughout like whole of history, we've all been like hunters and gatherers. It's like when we go outside and we train. When you're training, back in the old days, it was never just to like build your body. It was you're moving your body, you're running, you're chopping wood or everything to gather resources and everything. So when you go out to the park and you're with mates and you're doing these skills, it's kind of like a hunt.
Yeah, I
and
get it.
when you're around like areas where we go surface paradise to kind of do these cool skills and everything, it's kind of like a whole dynamic of just like trying to one up each other, and then you might teach the less experienced people how to like the ropes around the community and how to do these things. So like when I think about the community aspect, I think about like someone else on the outer edge of the park that doesn't know how to do calisthenics. I want to kind of like bring them into the tribe and kind of like nurture them, which is why I made these meetups in Sydney. And when I was down at the park just before you came, I was doing like my planche push-ups and stuff, and then a German boy and his brother was at the park. They went up to me like, "Thank you so much for showing me, for showing us those moves. How do you learn? I wanna get on the program or something like that."
It's infectious.
Yeah, it's infectious.
Yeah.
But in the gym, it's kind of just like a modern way of just working on yourself. It's like that stigma that they drive into you, saying you should just work on yourself, shut everything out, grind. Whereas I think calisthenics brings a lot of more of the tribe mentality back into fitness, which is what I really like about it. But it's not that there's anything wrong with the gym. Sometimes you just need to go through that phase, which I've done before.
Yeah.
And it's definitely fully geared towards getting results from A to B.
Yeah.
But the human aspect, like when you went to the competition at Burleigh, like that was all just community. There was nothing about trying to like go in there and like try to be better than like other people, although it's a competition. We're all there just to, have fun, and just, be together pretty much.
No, it is. It's I got that massive community vibe, and I think like if maybe gyms could maybe take that approach on a little bit more, it would be really good. Because I think like you go sign up at a gym and it's all cheery, and then once they get your money, you're just on the gym floor. How do I use this? Or that person's looking at me. So I understand why so many people get like, I suppose, phobias of going to the gym, or they get anxious about going to the gym, because it can be just that kind of, it's a bit of a harsher environment, very showy as well, I think. So, and that's from, I suppose, having a bit of experience doing you guys and doing what I'm doing. You know what? I've got my own gym at home. So where I'm most motivated a lot of the time with my strength training is when I'm just tunnel visioned at home, my own thoughts, nobody else is around. So I don't get actually very motivated training at a big commercial gym. It's just,
I used to hate it.
I don't know, man. It's just like bad music.
I used to get
and
crazy anxiety and like just find that I was focused on everyone else more than I was focused on myself when I was actually at the gym,
yeah,
which is it's complete opposite to how it should be when you're training,
Exactly.
like strength training. And then when in COVID, I did the same thing, got a gym at home, and then that was where I made all my progress, put on like 10 kilos in 6 months or something.
there you go.
After,
Well, it works. I mean, I remember.
yeah, it does for sure.
I remember when I actually, this was years ago. Gosh, so I set my gym up about 7 years ago, and I had his gym membership, and the manager there was he was a real toss. He just, and that's just to use the most polite word. I saw his name was Nick, and I said, "Oh, Nick, I've got to cancel my gym membership, mate." And he's like, "Why?" oh, I'm gonna start my own little PT business from home. I think I'm gonna set up my own gym. And this is exactly what he did. He went, so yeah, not even words. He just blew hot air out of his nose. He went, I said, what? He goes, not going to work. I said, why? You're not going to be motivated to train. You're going to regress. I was like, okay.
You had to cancel my membership, not have a discussion with you.
Yeah, like, just do your job.
Then the polar opposite happened.
7 years later, never been happier.
Crazy.
You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
But some people need that. Some people do get motivated when they go and train at the gym, and that's completely fine. Just not my vibe. Yeah.
I do want to ask, because you'd have lots of really good advice regarding growing a following.
Yep.
So obviously, we'd have to start it from nothing, but you've amassed 110K, maybe more followers.
Yep.
You post pretty much every day. It's just a part of your lifestyle. What are some tips to growing a following? Do you recommend posting daily? Do you need a target audience? How should you structure, I don't know, your videos? Like, what is some of your best tips that you've learned, or some
for
mistakes
sure.
that you made as well?
Yep. Well, still make mistakes. First of all, be passionate about what you do. Okay. You've got to absolutely love it to the point where you do it anyway, even if it wasn't creating like an income or a business. So you got to love what you're doing. You've got to be in it, not so much for yourself. I think you've got to be in it for your audience, because at the end of the day, your audience is your community. Like we speak about community within fitness or at the gym or when you're down at the Cali Park, you've got to create a good audience, and you've got to create trust as well. Okay, so you create a good community just by providing good, honest content. Being yourself too is extremely important. And I think once you tick off all of those three things, in conjunction, just being extremely consistent with posting as well. It's not one of those things where like you can go, oh, I'm going to have a couple of weeks off now. It truly doesn't work like that. Yeah. Your audience will appreciate your consistency. They'll appreciate the free information that you're providing them. And it's just a combination of everything. I see a lot of people make the mistake when they over dramatize themselves or not be their organic self, or they're providing content that there's more directly to them to stroke their ego. Yeah. And I can look at content like that and be like, you're kicking a dead horse. It's never going to work. Do you know what I mean?
And most people can tell that's why it doesn't get the same.
For sure,
effect.
For sure. Like I like to think that if somebody sees my social media and then they see me out in public, they're the two same people. Yeah. Of course, there's going to be elements of dramatized things when you're doing some reels just to make it funny or whatnot. Yeah. But to be yourself is extremely important. Sure. Was there any more specific kind of detail you want on that? Yeah. Look, I can reflect back on some of my old content and be like, who are you? Like that's
like Isaac with his archived TikToks.
Let's try and delete some of those videos. But the cool thing is when you know that you can just wake up, talk about things that you enjoy, and just be yourself, that's very refreshing, because you can't keep up and act for very long. Yeah. It starts to
unsustainable.
And people sniff it out. So if you can be yourself, be consistent, provide information for them, not for you. And we have to understand that the industries that we're in, fitness, sometimes we might think that the conversations or the topics we're talking about are like common sense, but they're not to most of other people. So if you can break things back down to basics and start building them up from there, it's really informative. Like some of my best performing reels, for example, on Instagram or Facebook, I might put it up and go, oh, geez, that's a little bit embarrassing. I'm not really covering too much there. Boom, people love it. And then I realize,
what's a calorie?
And then I realize again, of course, like this isn't common knowledge. Yeah. And when you know that you can like help people, that's a kick as well. Yeah. That's a kick.
Like it's funny. You get very simple questions. Like I've had a look through the comments, and it's like, well, I can see I have kilojoules on my food packet. What's calories? How do I convert?
Fair call.
It's like a simple Google search.
Fair call.
It's not something they think so.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very simple information to us, but actually there's a big audience for simple stuff like that.
What people don't realize is that health and fitness can be actually quite simplistic, and it's meant to be. So when I can break it back down to the bare basics and go, hey, everybody, guess what? You don't actually have to follow like any crazy diets or do anything mental to achieve a result. It responds very well, because my audience is actually like women over the age of 50. That's my audience. So it is good to know who your audience is. So there's no point in me waking up and going like, oh, I'm going to do a really good reel today about like an awesome bicep superset. Sharon sitting on the other end of the phone is going to be like, oh,
He doesn't want biceps.
you used to be cool. Unfollow. Just show me a good breakfast recipe. So knowing your audience is extremely important as well. I will say that. And obviously you've got analytics and everything that can kind of give you a rough gauge on what it is. But when you know your audience too, you're no longer talking to the camera. I'm talking to, they're all there. I think I've got like 700,000 followers now across all of my platforms, but I'm talking to them. I'm no longer talking to a camera. And that's when you get that good screen presence as well.
So is that through what, Facebook as well? What are the main platforms you use?
So Facebook and Instagram are my big ones. Something about TikTok, I just don't vibe on it. I don't even think I've ever scrolled through TikTok. So my TikTok doesn't do very well. But just to give you an example, like in May, I had 600 Facebook followers. I've got 460 or 500,000 now. I don't even know.
Wow.
I
didn't even know you.
Yeah. So Facebook's about 500,000, and my Instagram went from 2,000 to 115,000 since May. So it's gone up a substantial amount. But in saying that, something else that I encourage everybody to do, and this isn't just social media, this is life. Okay, don't think that you know everything, because you don't. I was actually very lucky to meet up with somebody who's huge in the industry now, Sean Casey, just killing it. He gave me some extremely valuable advice in regards to social media and making reels and all that. So it's so valuable to learn off people who are better than you. Okay, it goes with anything. You guys are like way better than me at Cali. What do I do? Ask you guys how to do it.
Yep.
So it's always very advantageous to ask for help. I used to see that as a weakness. I now see it as a strength. Surround yourself with the right people, and you're always going to grow.
Yeah.
Like definitely, it's you want to create that good community of people around you. Like over the last few years, I've let go of some people who were dragging me down or not supporting me or just not working well in my space. And when you stop spending energy and time on that, it's amazing. Like I'm 34 now, and I think that I've learned more in the last 2 years than I have my whole life. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Like, so keep that
so
in
cool.
mind.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Like, I know we all want things now, but when you get to a certain level, it's just it's a collection of everything. All those times you thought you failed, they weren't. Like, they're just little tiny stepping stones that get you somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna have heaps of them. I do it every day. But that's a good thing. It's
That's
like
it. It's the journey, right?
It's progressing with everything. Like you never think you're perfect, because you're not. I'm rambling now, but I'm passionate.
People love seeing that journey as well, though. Like when you're transparent with it. I've noticed just from doing my TikToks, like I post my training, and for half the stuff that I'm training for, I can't do. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm posting a video where I'm doing like some super extravagant move. I'm like doing a very, very early progression for it and just posting sets of it. But people love seeing that because they're seeing the journey and they're
For
kind
sure.
of participating in it. They're jumping on board. It's
Yeah.
more inspiring than just seeing like the guy that does a planche and doesn't sort of engage.
People want to feel like things are possible. They don't want to be like schooled or like, hey, look at me, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And like, just sorry to go back to my old social media and stuff, but you know, I'd have my shirt off doing a lot of stuff back in the day. Like it didn't help anyone for me now.
Yeah.
So my social media now, like I said, is so much less directed at me and more so directed to my audience in a helpful way. And that's what will help you kill it.
What was your turning point for that? Like, so, well, for starters, when did you first get into like the fitness nutrition thing in terms of helping other people with it?
I've been a trainer since I was 19 years old, but I think every trainer or anyone in the health and fitness industry goes through some transitions. So like when you first start, it's all about you. It's all about the six pack. It's all just like you're training like a 50-year-old woman, like you'd train an 18-year-old bloke. There's no kind of like separation between anything. So I think it's been a progression from then to now, but more so over the last, honestly, probably over the last 5 years, where it's more so really zoned in on the individual. Everybody's different. Everybody requires different things. So it's not just like a copy and cut type scenario. Like a lot of my clients, I don't even prescribe exercise to them. And this isn't because I don't want them to exercise. I eventually want them to. But to get somebody who's sitting on the couch, who's 50 kilos overweight, to say, all right, I want you to go to the gym 4 times a week and we're going to start this diet, they're going to just completely fail. That individual's situation isn't caused by their lack of going to the gym. It's no consumption of calories. It's mindset. I would rather work on somebody's mind before I start on anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just transition, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Habit building as well. I don't know if you've read a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you're
No, I haven't.
That's a
I should
really
read more.
If you're gonna read a book, read Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Just based on what you said, then you'd love it. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
okay.
This guy James Clear basically breaks down a really easy to understand way how habits work, like from a scientific perspective, how they actually work in the brain. And he talks a lot about what you just said in terms of if you want to actually make a change, you need to start with something that's sustainable and build on it, like building blocks, which is exactly what you just said. It just came to my head when you were saying it. But
You've got to set yourself realistic targets. You've got to have don't just celebrate the win when you get to like the top. It's all those little things that actually get you there, isn't it?
For sure.
So if let's say you're extremely demotivated and Monday you think that, okay, on Monday I've got to get up, I've got to make sure I drink 5 liters of water, I've got to eat this diet, I've got to get to the gym, boom, explosion.
Good luck doing that
is not ready for it. You know what? Wake up, walk out to the letterbox, touch it.
Yeah.
That's your exercise done. How easy is that now to actually progressively overload that?
Yeah. Make that the baseline, then walk past the letterbox and go down the road and then turn around.
You've got to have a win. You've got to have a win. You can't just go straight to the top. It's too demotivating. I still do it now. I still do it with myself, my life. Like, set yourself realistic targets and hit them. Sweet. I've hit level 1. Let's move to level 2.
Yeah.
And then it becomes more effortless instead of this like horrible process. Yeah. That's where so many people go wrong.
Yeah, and you don't hate it as well. Like you were saying before, you're not doing something that you hate. You just kind of get there without even realizing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So where are you boys aiming at going? Like, what's the dream? What's the intention? You don't even have to have one, but like, I think what's cool about you guys is like, and like, that's why I like talking to you guys, because you live and breathe this sort of stuff. Yeah. Like, you love it. And I think it's so important for like young blokes and young girls to have something that they love. Like, it's inspiring. It keeps you out of trouble. It's motivating. It stops you from feeling depressed and all sorts of things. So would you say at the moment you guys are just like loving what you're doing and just going with it, seeing where it goes?
To a degree, yes. I would say for myself personally, I do have a vision, like a very specific vision where I know I want to be. I'm not going to touch on it too much because it's kind of like, I feel like it's more important to keep it to myself. But in terms of Valenti itself, we definitely just want to grow the sport. Eventually, have a bigger brand where we're selling products, but then also, potentially doing comps. We want to sponsor bar parks. We want to get a beach set up eventually. I don't know if you've seen, in Barcelona or all of you have these setups on sand.
Yeah.
It's not a thing in this country though. But
I know why.
It's something we really want.
I wish we could have that sort of stuff.
That's a big goal of ours. If we can make our own bar park on the beach, would be awesome. So that'd be pretty cool if you got that here at Burleigh at some point. But
how cool would that be?
The key for Via Valenti is just association. We just want to be that. Like, when someone thinks of calisthenics in Australia,
boom.
It's like
it's Via Valenti,
tied at the hip. There's no. It's always Via Valenti. Like, all the comps, the whole community, everything is through Viva. And that way we can like have a really strong say in how big it gets, because we want it to just explode.
You know what I mean? Guys have got the drive to do it. Like, I look at your setup now, I'm impressed. You know what I mean? And if you're passionate about it, you just keep going. Like the old saying of like, just start today and see where you'll be in 12 months' time. Like, you just consistently work on something, even if it's just consistently average. You just keep on chugging along, blown away where you'll be.
That's it. It's building blocks.
For me personally, I'm not happy with my life right now because I want to do online PT.
Yeah.
I know I'm pulling my punches. I could put way more effort into it. But yeah, I just deal with imposter syndrome right now. Like, I got all my processes down, but I'm just holding back. I don't know why. Like, have you ever, when you first transitioned from face to face to online? Was that like that doubt that you had?
I still doubt myself.
Mm.
That's no word of a lie, but use that to your advantage as well, because I truly think that that's what anybody who has some reasonable amount of success does. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I can send out a plan to somebody, to one of my clients. Boom, off you go. There's that part of me that's always like, gosh, I hope they like it. I hope it's good enough. Geez, I hope. And I know that's just a little bit of negative self-talk, but at the same time, I think that's what keeps people hungry. Because if I was there every single day, just like, boom, I'm the man at everything I do, I don't think you would progress. I think I'd be too complacent, and my business wouldn't grow. I wouldn't grow as a human being. So don't think that that's a bad thing. That's just you being a little bit tough on yourself, but you can use that to your advantage. But I would honestly suggest that you just got to hit the ground running. Like when I started online PT, I didn't know how to make a Google sheet, okay? And I remember the day sitting at my computer being like, all right, Mitch, you're going to be an online PT. Didn't know how to make a Google sheet. That would have been the old Mitch's little call to quit. Like, go on, mate, get back in line. You suck. You can't do a Google sheet. No. I made the Google sheet, and then somebody replied to it. I'm going to be like, oh my God. I'm like saying to my wife, I'm like, Riss, someone replied to this Google sheet that I made. No word of a lie. Fast forward the clock 2 weeks. I shut down my entire face-to-face PT business because I saw the potential of what this could be. Now, this required me to take an initial financial step back, which was scary. Car repayments, mortgage and everything. But I knew that it was time for me to back myself, put 100% into that. Instead of just dabbling with it, 100%. Boom. Life-changing. Life-changing not only in a sense of like, I'm in a better financial position, just my life is a lot more enjoyable. Like I'm doing cool things like this now. I'm able to bring my dog down to the beach on a Wednesday and do some pull-ups and go for a swim. I'm more flexible with my life. But if I don't back myself and just dive in, even though I was nervous and I had all of those apprehensions, negative self-talk, if I didn't do it, I'd still be not where I wanted to be, because I wasn't where I wanted to be at that stage of my life. I had a successful PT business, but I was burning the candle. I was tired. I hit my ceiling. I was feeling uninspired. But now what I do, I love it because I've kind of combined everything that I love: fitness, filming, content creation, all into one ball. So I'm like, I wake up every day now. I'm like, oi, I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I'd like to say that, yeah, sure, that just happened in the space of 2 weeks. It didn't. I go back to that 13-year-old kid that walked into my garage one day, picked up my brother's gym set. That's when it started. That's when it started. Everything from that point to now, it was all combined into one ball. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it is
so true.
It is so true. It's a collection of everything that I've done in my whole life, which is cool because I've got more learning experiences now. When I talk to people, I'm not just talking to them like one-dimensionally. I can understand different work environments. I can understand different jobs, different situations, because you name it, I've done it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've crammed a lot in a short time. Like a lot's happened in my life, so I've used it all to my advantage. It's kind of cool to talk about, actually. Yeah.
There you go.
I can tell.
Yeah. No, I get revved up, man. I get
That's
super
awesome.
inspired by
That's so good.
I really do, because like I really don't think that enough people sit down and actually say to themselves like, I'm legit going to be dead in like 50 years or whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Too many people are too complacent and not willing to make a change. The thought of how short life is terrifies me. And the thought of doing something every single day that I don't enjoy, that I'm not inspired by, terrifies me. And I don't have the ability in my DNA to allow myself to do that to myself.
Real.
A, I don't like that I'm doing it to myself, and B, everybody around me is just going to hate me because I'm just going to be a misery guts. And I've been that person. Yeah. I've been that guy who would be like, geez, Mitch is negative, isn't he? God, he's not good to be around. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I
Life's short.
100%
real.
relate, because for me, if I'm not progressing, I can relate this to any facet of life. If I'm not progressing, I actually feel I just get depressed. I'm
Yeah.
like, I haven't made any progress this week. What do I need to change? And if things aren't constantly changing, I just get into a state where I'm like, man, I just hate my life right now. I just get super down. I'm like, oh, I need to do something different. I need to change. Even if it's trying something that might not even work, the fact that I'm actually just doing something different, it's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's enough to inspire me to keep going.
Don't be
So-
afraid to, like, in quotation, fail. Like, sorry to bring it back to something as trivial as like social media, but if I see that things aren't budging, I'm like, ugh, let's just try something completely left center and just see what happens.
it.
So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. You learn a lot through that. But you know, it's you can relate it back to fitness. You might feel that at some stage you're not progressing or moving or anything like that. But in life, it's never like that. It does. We don't just go up and up and up. It's like you get
Big
sick, you get demotivated. All of it happens. Like I always say to my clients, don't worry about being perfect. Be consistently average.
Yep.
You be consistently average, you're always going to. It's when you completely fall off the wagon and not care about anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm at a point where I'm kind of experimenting with a couple different things. You've probably seen a weird video of me eating raw meat online.
That was intense.
Yeah.
Do you know, I will admit, driving over here, I was like, are they going to get me to like eat liver or something? Like, am I
on my body. I do have some liver defrosting after, to be honest, for myself. I won't force you to eat any.
stitch up?
But yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting with different content. I'm like, I don't know if I can like do content like that. I'm like, I love calisthenics, but then I don't want to turn that into a chore. So I'm just experimenting with a lot of different things. And I think trying to pick a type of content where I can reproduce it and it's not going to be a chore all the time. Obviously, sometimes it's going to be a chore. That's life.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be constantly a chore every single day. So I've just been, experimenting. And even if I do something that's like, oh, I don't like that, at least I've tried it. And now I can.
You'll find your feet. You'll
Figure
see.
something
You'll
out,
see
yeah.
what responds. Something that I've definitely learned with social media, and this is like an ego thing too. I used to think that the algorithm hated me. Okay, I'm like, oh man, I'm doing such great content. It's just the algorithm. Okay, and I actually experienced this about a month ago. I didn't budge for a month. I'm talking not 100 followers. And I'm like, I fell back into that old, God, the algorithm hates me, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, stop it, Mitch. Sit down, pull this apart, look at it. Why isn't it working? What's happening? It's not the algorithm, it's you. When I had that chat to myself, and I was like, all right, boom, I'm going to try this. Bang.
So that was your coin drop moment, would you say?
It was another coin drop moment. There's lots of coin drop
It's
moments.
constant,
It's
hey?
constant. I'm dropping
Well-
coins everywhere.
What would you say is the biggest thing where it's like a hooray moment where you just figured something out and it just
Hooray.
like was the missing piece? Was there any moment like that?
When I first started posting more organic content for myself, for my business, and changing the strategy, I remember I posted one video, and I was like, that just got 7,000 views in like 10 minutes. And that was my coin drop moment. So I was like, okay, so there is actually a system in which you can approach to make sure your reels and everything get better views. So that was like mind blowing for me. And that's when just massive growth occurred. But it was funny that a week ago, like I said, no followers, no nothing, zero. I fell back into the old habit of like, it's the algorithm, it's not me. Had to talk to myself, restructured things, started making some different content with my reels. Boom, 10,000 followers in like a week. You know what I mean?
Same thing happened to Isaac recently.
Yeah.
Not to the same scale, but
Yeah.
Do you know what my coin drop moment is? It's a bit of a weird one. But like, I blew up from posting my ankle break video.
Yeah, well, that's kind of something that you don't want to watch, but you want to watch it like 10 times.
You
Yeah,
see
yeah.
one
I watched it heaps. I was like, hang on, what way is it bending?
And I posted a video of me in the kitchen impressing a few party goers next door.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah.
saw that one.
But then I also posted a bunch of tutorial videos
Yep.
that got like no traction.
No traction.
But then the other night, I saw one of my mates post on a story. Oh, so sorry, I couldn't see you guys requests in the DMs. I'll fix it now. So I was like, hang on, I'm gonna try that as well. So I opened my requests and I did view hidden requests, and I saw like
Basically, messages people, random people
I
have
saw like
sent that
20
just
plus
haven't been
replies to people
Yeah.
saying, saying like, can I get a program? Can I get this? Can I get
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
get that? And I was like, what? So this whole time, people have actually liked my content, but I switched to making these more show-offy videos because I thought it didn't work. But then I looked at my requests and people actually liked them, and
Yeah, I mean,
So weird.
you've got to look at, I suppose, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Cali community in your audience would be like a little bit younger. I can't see like 60-year-old Barry sitting on the couch thinking like, yeah, I'm going to go and like try a planche. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
So maybe your content would be, I don't know, more approached by like the younger crew. So like maybe that party scene that you posted did well because they're like, I like parties. I'd like to do that. I don't know, it's just a perfect combination. So look at your reels. Nothing really ever happens by fault. If you really analyze it and pick it apart and like legit sit down and go like, why did that go well? Why did it go well? You'll find there's probably a few contributing factors as to why it did go well, and then you can replicate that.
Yep.
Like for me at the moment, food reels are doing really well. Just simple things like making a sandwich. Again, it's what my audience wants. It relates to them. So think about who your audience is. And I guarantee you your demographic would be probably younger males.
Yeah, well, he got his first client, and it was a 13 or 14-year-old boy who was like wants to learn planche, and he had very specific goals. Like, oh, I want to learn a straddle planche. I want to learn a 90-degree handstand push-up and this move. And it's like 13 years old. How does he even know what these moves are called?
Yeah, you're scaring me,
And it's
kid.
like,
yeah,
yeah.
it was really weird.
So he's chatted with his mum and him and organised to do some coaching. But yeah, it's definitely teenagers, I would say, is a big
Yeah.
target audience.
Oh, for sure. Like you guys could kill it. I mean, you've got the bars down there that you could utilize. You could do coaching. You could do all sorts of things. Like, I think really what happens with human beings is we can get stuck in our own head, in our beliefs, what we think we can do. Whereas, and I only say this from experience, like when I decided that I wanted to sort of do something and like really try and remove my old mindset. Like I used to be, gosh, I really want to get that job because it's $30 an hour. And then if I stay there for another year, I'll get $32.50 and I can, that's gone now. I can never think of that again because I'm in a new world now. This is just such a different way of earning. And I think that it's something really important for people to understand that you don't have to actually get restrained in the traditional realms of like, go to work, get this much. When you if you've got the drive, which you guys do, you can break free from that. And it suits some people, that lifestyle, but I don't see it suiting you guys. It certainly doesn't suit me. Like I want more freedom to like help more people, to enjoy the things that I do. And if I've got like a traditional job, I don't have time or space to help anybody.
Yeah, we all think that way, and that's a big reason why we all moved here, because we had the exact same mindset. We kind of wanted to get away from the people that did think that way. Not that there's anything negative about them. It's just get with people, be around people that have the same ideas and mindset, and then it would help us all grow.
Yeah.
I mean, the jobs we work now, it's like, I see it as a stepping stone. We don't necessarily want to work a 9-to-5 finance job our whole lives, but it's a stepping stone because we can all work from home. We have the freedom where I can basically work the hours I want. So it's a stepping stone where I've got time outside of work where I can, allocate towards working to those bigger dreams.
Yeah, for sure.
To get to a point where we can just create our own thing and then make money from
You
our
guys
own.
will kill it. Like the setup you guys have got at the moment is mental. Like this is out of control.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
You said in your story that you've been to many places, but you've always liked the Gold Coast. Like, have you done like a bunch of traveling and just like have a taste of everything and just you seem like the type just to settle down here.
Oh, mate, I did the bulk of my traveling before the age of like 21. Europe, UK, through Africa, Bali, Thailand, you name it. I went everywhere. But I'm actually a homebody. Like I'm somebody who's extremely content with my routine, with my home life. And I've been heaps of places in the world. I love the Gold Coast. It's like to live in a city where you still feel like you're on holiday. Where else can you do that? I mean, of course, there's places that people do that, but not many people feel like where they live is on a holiday. I wake up and I'm like, get my dog. I'm like, can't wait to go to Burleigh.
Yeah.
We've
What was
literally
that?
said that.
Yeah.
We've said it's a permanent holiday here.
It is the best place in the world.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hands down. And you know what? People who say they don't like the Gold Coast, just my opinion, I just think you might be a little bit jealous. Okay? Like, oh, the Gold
Yeah.
Coast. I actually know people who once upon a time like, oh, the Gold Coast is shit. Why would you live in the Gold Coast? Oh, you live in the Gold Coast now, do you? Like,
Yeah.
what's not to
That
like about it?
Sydney, living in Sydney was a chore. Like every day was just so monotonous. It was just rinse and repeat, surrounded by people that I didn't really want to be like. And then I just conjured this idea. Me personally, I think I hate Sydney the most out of all four of us,
Yep.
just personally. So I conjured this idea to all come up here. And then I was surprised and everyone was just like, yes, oh my God. I was just thinking the exact same thing. Like
cool.
we're literally all thinking the same thing, but no one had said it. And I was like, bro, let's do it. Like we just started acting from that point, and then we moved up here and haven't looked back.
What do
at all.
you like about the Gold Coast?
Being near the beach is good. Generally speaking, weather's pretty good. I feel like this summer it's been a bit iffy. Being near the bars,
Yeah.
huge as well.
Yeah, how good's that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you move to like the best Cali park ever, and it's just across the road.
Yeah, we were stoked when we got this spot. We're like, it can't be that easy. Surely there's a cash. It's
meant to be.
Yeah. Well, and living expenses, groceries is still messed up, like really expensive for food still. But actual rent is actually, like what we're paying here is cheap compared to what we pay in Sydney. Like what we pay now, you pay the same in Sydney and you might be
1 bedroom
2
apartment.
2 hours inland from the beach, like some crappy suburb. Like, yeah, it's not really good for, unless you have you go there for a good paying job. It's not really the best to live, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just comparing all that, it's good. And then obviously it's very health focused. You got P3, the Ice Bath Recovery Center, just up the road, which we love. We go multiple times a week.
Which is so cool. Like, and I don't see you guys being big partiers. Is that correct?
No, we don't.
None
drink.
of us drink.
Yeah. So
Go
like,
out.
so when I see like 4 young guys moving to the Gold Coast, to the beach, and hearing the things that you like about it and what you guys are doing, it's awesome because I can vibe off that as well. Like you get 4 young guys moved to a unit by the beach, unsupervised by any sort of parents. The conversation's going to be a lot different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like what
Now
do you
that
like
you
about
mention it,
what do you
yeah.
like about the Gold? What do you like about the Gold Coast?
I literally had-
surface, bloody pingers, like it's
Yeah.
completely
I
different.
had this exact conversation with a doctor today. I went to see a GP.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen him before. And I told him that we moved from Sydney and whatever. We were living right next to Burleigh Pav. And he just laughed and he was like, I bet you guys are on it every night and whatever. I was like,
Can I come
and
with
then
you?
I said to him, no, he already had his Instagram up because he was showing me some training gimmick thing because I told him we were doing calisthenics. And I said, no, pull up this Instagram. I showed him via Valenti and I was like, none of us drink. We train calisthenics every day. We do a podcast. We do all this stuff. And his jaws on the floor. He couldn't believe it.
And that's so cool because just on the non-drinking thing, and I'm not like one of those people who are like, oh, you drink, you're the worst.
Yep.
I've got nothing against people who drink, but I think because I don't drink much myself.
Yep.
I used to back in the day, like when I was in
Same.
school and whatnot. We've all done it. But I think that when you find something that you really love, you're like, well, I don't want to wake up with a hangover tomorrow because then I can't do the thing that I love.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think if more people had that hobby and something that they just were really massively interested in, the distraction of like drinking and drugs and all that sort of stuff would just fall aside because that high can't beat that one.
It's no secret that drinking and partying for the majority of people is a distraction.
100%. Like I think like so many people are just mildly sedated on everything, drugs, alcohol, TV, junk food, whatever the case may be. Find something you love, and it's like, whoa. I'm stoked that I found fitness at 13 because I had a heap of mates that like we started here. A lot of my mates went like that, and I just sort of kept in line. And I'm not saying that to be like pat myself on the back or be a hero or anything like that. But I truly think that the one thing that kept me in line was like my fitness. Because I had stuff happen to me in my life that would have warranted like going off the rails, but I just was like, nah, this thing that I've got going on is just like really giving me a buzz. Get angry, boom, go to the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get angry,
For sure.
oh, I'm going for a run, whatever the case may be.
It's like your parents think you're going to the gym to stay healthy. It's like, no, I'm going to the gym to survive. Like, like you get in a bad mood and you're like, I need to train. It's like,
Of course, but I mean, and so many people don't have that outlet. And the thing is, like, it's like we've all drunk before, and I'll admit, like the feeling of drinking can be really great in the initial early stages. The aftermath for me is just not worth it. But you feel like crap, and then you drink or you have some drugs. It's like, whoa, I don't feel that feeling anymore. Like that's good.
Alcohol and drugs is just borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
100%.
Yeah, you got to pay back later.
Yeah.
So,
I get massively depressed when I drink now, like big time. I might be out of like a wine or something at dinner with the missus, but if I have any more than a few, I'm not good.
Yeah.
Never worth it for me.
Yep.
I took 2020 completely off drinking, not because I had a drinking problem, but I was tired of the like stigma, particularly in Australia, amongst Aussie men that if you don't drink, like you're like, huh.
Yeah.
So I found I was just drinking to fit in, and then I was like, no, this is like I'm a grown human being, male. Like, why am I feeling pressured to drink? So I just stopped for a whole year, and it was the best thing I ever
So
did because
liberating,
now when someone's like, you drinking? I'm like, nah, and they're like, oh, why? And they pressure me, and I'm like, hang on, I'm just going to flip it back on you. I think it's weird that you think that I'm not drinking and that you've got a problem with it.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to talk about something?
it's so true because it's so socially accepted. You almost like you're the weird one if you don't, especially in my workplace in finance. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts.
can
and
imagine.
stuff. Like honestly, there's a lot of degenerates.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they make quite a bit of money. They act like their job
Wolf
is
of
very
Wall
hard
Street.
and so stressful.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just like constantly joking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get smashed at the pub tonight. Oh haha, and I'm there thinking like, I don't know, man, that's kind of depressing that you're 3 days out from the end of the week and all you're talking about is how excited you are to go to the pub and drink because
Everything
your
good at home?
customer was just you're bothering you and now you're complaining about this, so you just want to go to the pub. I'm like, I don't know, man, like.
But you know what? I guarantee you that there is actually a lot of blokes out there who are keen to not drink. And on the 1st of January this year, I started a broadcast channel on my Instagram. And I just thought, you know what? Everybody would have woken up feeling so shit this morning. Maybe there'd be people who don't want to drink. So I just started a broadcast channel on my Instagram page called 6 Months Sober. And I opened it up. And 1,000 people have joined it, right? And the amount of people who have messaged me through Facebook and Instagram who have been like, man, this is exactly what I need right now. You got no idea how much I need to get off the drink. I'm feeling so pressured by my mates and this and that. I'm like, welcome aboard. See what you can do in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to feel amazing. The best thing you can ever do is just like focus on you. Like, get rid of the distraction for a bit. I'm not saying never drink again or the drinking's the worst thing in the world because it's not. But back it off, man. Like, when was the last time you had a weekend off the drink?
Can you remember, Isaac, our last episode, our conversation about alcohol? I literally said that. Can you remember?
But you getting clotheslined?
No, I said I got clotheslined by a security guard one
We've all had things like
off
that.
someone's
I
shoulders.
think, was that a turning point for you to stop drinking?
That was that's a pretty
You
significant.
couldn't
turning
see
point.
properly for a week.
Yeah, longer than a week.
What were you saying on the podcast?
I was saying how the majority of people I think that drink at least a lot now wouldn't if they didn't feel pressured by everyone else around them. Like
Massive pressure.
it's like, say you have 100 people in a room, they're all participating in this activity because they think that the other 99 people want to participate in it as well, but secretly none of them want to participate in it. So there's actually no one pressuring anyone, but they're all just in their own heads thinking that they're pressured to do it.
Yeah.
And because, like you said, starting that broadcast channel, you then air out the fact that no one is actually pressuring anyone to do anything.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it just evaporates into thin air.
Well, definitely. And the thing for me was I felt like it was one of the last things that I needed to tick off for me, where I could actually be 110% comfortable with who I am as a human being and present myself that like, I don't want to do this. What you see is what you get. And look, I honestly do think that if you are a bloke in Australia and you decide to, and it's sad, but if you decide to stop drinking, you decide to focus on your health, you decide to focus on, creating a business or whatever the case may be, expect to lose friends. Expect to not get invited to things because you do become that sort of recluse. But what happens from that is you get better people around you as well. Yeah. So initially it might feel like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. You will find such a better community of people who are actually vibing the same thing that you do, And the fact that you guys are all kind of doing the same thing, really like quite uncommon to happen.
Well, what you just mentioned, calisthenics is exactly what did that for us, because we all met through this sport, and we met a bunch of people through this sport, and we realized a lot of us have the same mindsets, even outside of calisthenics, just life in general. We all think very similar, but this sports brought us all together. And next thing you know, we've moved here, and then we've started VIA, and we have all these goals together, all just because of calisthenics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get drunk every weekend. I was talking to my
Super
wife
easy.
about it. It's actually really easy not to achieve things. Okay, and achievements doesn't have to mean like you're in peak shape or you're balling in money. There's so many different levels of achievements and success, I think, but it's really easy not to do anything.
It's easy now as well because
Yeah.
it's so easy to achieve things through other people.
Oh yeah,
Social media, like sport, all that. I used to just watch sport like compulsively and drink and do all that. And
Yeah.
I know for myself, I used to love watching sport because I would see other people win, and
Yeah.
then you get the
You think you won.
You get like the
I scored.
dopamine hit. Literally, you get the dopamine hit of like your team scores, and it's like, oh yes, like I achieved something. When
Yeah.
in reality, you didn't actually achieve something. You just watched someone else achieve something.
Yeah.
But that, and the same thing happens through social media. You watch other people who are successful or like living their best life, or doing really cool things, like Red Bull athletes and things doing crazy stuff. It's great, but when you get sort of sucked into that and lose yourself and your own sense of motivation to achieve, that's when it becomes problematic.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you got to look in sometimes, don't you?
Yeah,
That's when
always.
I've done that a lot this year, last few years. Just like, hang on, it's you, mate. It's you. Sort yourself out. I think we all do it, but I used to do it. A lot of pointing at other people.
Yeah,
Put that mirror in front, point the finger at yourself. You start working on yourself. That's when you're going to really.
Yeah.
That's when you're really going to thrive, I think.
for
Definitely.
sure. For sure.
And you made a lot of progress in like this 1 year alone. Like how is that? Like the thing's just been changing a lot.
Do you know what? It's a combination of everything. It's like I said, learning from other people is a huge advantage. Something that I once upon a time used to think as cheating or as a weakness, to put your hand up and ask questions. Can you show me how you did that? Do you mind if you give me some advice? That was a huge thing. Also, like I said, and I don't ever want to be like this inspirational talker or anything like that, but I truly think that a lot of my growth has come off looking at myself a little bit more, realizing that I had habits that weren't creating where I wanted to be, realizing that I could solve my own problems. I used to stop at hurdles quite quickly if I thought something was too hard. It's just that default thing. It's like, just laziness. I've become more proactive, and I'm okay with taking those steps and those levels and not trying to get it straight away. It's been a huge advantage that. So just ask people for help who are doing better than you in whatever field, I think, and look at yourself more. Don't blame anyone. It seems simple, but they're massive, massive things. Like
Real.
you can change so much in your own life just through your own mindset. And I think that's what stops people from achieving anything. I don't deserve a better partner, or I want a better job, but I can't. Like, I'm not good enough. Or a lot of it comes down to just stepping up and not being lazy with things as well. Like, although I was thriving through fitness and I had consistency with all of that, and like, let's say my physique was getting better and I'm getting stronger, great. That's one thing. But for me to grow and move, to get a better job, to earn more, required a different set of personality traits, which I didn't actually realize I was already doing through the consistency of my fitness and my mindset. Do it with everything else. Progressively overload everything else that you do in your life. Yeah, that Google form was hard to make. I thought I did it. Now I'm progressively overloading, and I'm making online programs, and I'm so many things 6 months ago that I couldn't do, I now can do because I actually accepted the fact that I could do it, but it required a bit of work and time. Hope that answered your question. I went on a tangent again. It's just what I do.
There's
That
good
was cool.
tangents though.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
No, I was just wondering, like, what's in it long term for Mitch? Like,
Oh,
do you feel like you should be like doing much more than you should, or
of course, definitely. And I think anybody who continues to grow always thinks that. I know I want to do more. I know I will do more. I think ultimately what I really enjoy is I like teaching people things. Like this conversation that we're having here, I like having these conversations. I'd like to do it on a mass scale, do seminars, because yes, I love fitness. I love everything to do with fitness, but I also love the mindset side of things because I think that is the most important thing. Anybody can exercise, anybody can clean up their diet and make better choices. The only thing that stops you is your head. It's overthinking things. It's thinking that you've got to do too much too fast. Take your time and move on. I would like to be able to teach people that. I don't necessarily have like this ambition to like be a, some people like, I want to be a multi-millionaire, I want to drive a Lamborghini, blah, 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 blah. Sure.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want more money? I want to just do cool life experiences, enjoy what I do. That's really my ambition. And whatever follows from that, cool.
Yeah.
Like even just sitting here with you guys doing this on what day is it?
I don't even know.
Wednesday.
Is that bad?
Wednesday.
See, I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Is it for you the same as us, where like
Yeah.
every day is
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
same, even the weekend? Because
Yeah.
like,
To sit here and do this with you guys, technically I could classify this as work because it's networking, it's having a yarn, but it's just fun. Like, and this is what I want to do with my life. And if somebody gains something from that on the other end of the screen, fantastic.
Yeah.
Like my job's done. I'm just going to cruise along being me and see what happens. Yeah. I don't have like a big dream of having like this empire or whatever it might be. I know some people do, and that's cool. I'm just going to rock up and do my thing. I've always said this, and I mean it. I still mean it to this day. I say to my wife, I'm like, you know what? Just as long as I've got a tub of protein and I can still go and do like some pull-ups, I'm stoked. Got my dog. Like, I don't
That's
need
so
much.
real.
I don't need much.
so real.
Yeah.
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 Hope that
Same
answers
as
your
us.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, and I
that's
get the
awesome.
same vibe for you guys. Really, like you guys are in it because you love it, and you can't not succeed when you're in something and you love it because people feel it.
Yeah.
They feel it. Like you got to understand, they're watching on the other side of the screen. Like they can feel if you're genuine, if you love what you do. Like it sounds terrible, but like when I call somebody up to sign them onto my program, 10 times out of 10, they're in. And I'm not saying that to be cocky. It's because they know that I love what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to like send them like some rubbish program I don't care. Like I genuinely care about everyone that I work with. So
Authenticity.
Yeah, super important.
you guys have
Real.
seen people on social media like, that's not you. I don't
Yeah,
even
oh,
know
you. Can tell
you.
straight away.
I don't even know you when I know that's not you.
You can
You know
tell
what I mean?
straight
Mm.
away. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Good times.
Maybe some people are really good at it and you just don't know.
Maybe, but I think for the most part,
Unlikely.
look, the most successful people I know within the fitness industry
Yeah.
are very authentic and they're themselves.
Yep.
I see their social media, met them in person. I'm like, yeah, you're just the real deal.
Yeah.
And that's what creates that's what creates, what's the word I'm looking for? Trust.
Trust. Yeah.
People got to trust you.
Yep.
At the end of the day, we're all trying to make money, make a living, but you got to get people to trust you.
I wanted to ask a question. Obviously, your target audience, right? The type of nutrition advice you provide is perfect for them. What are your thoughts on, because there's lots of different nutrition advice, and in terms of nutrition, you can go down a massive rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You can pretty much find a reason why something is good for you and why something is bad for you for pretty much any food. And I don't even want to say good or bad because food's not black and white, right?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on these people? I don't know if you've seen them, but there's these influencers that are blowing up now of like, eat real food. I don't know if you've seen that Eddie bloke, the dark-skinned guy. He's like, eat real food. And he's like, 90% of food in the supermarket you pretty much can't eat if you follow by his principle. And it's like, yeah, he's got a good message behind it, which I can partially agree with. But then there's also a big audience that will never cut out all those foods. That's just the reality of it. So it's like, okay, if you do want to eat a bit of junk,
Yep.
figure out a way that it's not gluttonous.
Yeah.
You can still be relatively healthy. And it's like, okay, maybe you don't want to live 100% optimal all the time. You still want to enjoy a bit of food, and just be average, right? Like, what are your thoughts on, do you think that's all rubbish, that eat real food kind of ideology, or do you think it's true, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
at the end of the day, I think, life is there to be lived. Is most of what we see in the supermarkets just a load of nonsense? Yeah, probably. But we live in a time where it's never going away. People enjoy eating it, but it is about having that balance. I don't think that for 99.9% of the population to say, like, look, you can only eat whole foods, fruits, veggies, meat,
Good luck.
yeah, it's just not going to happen. And when we look at, say, there's an obesity epidemic, okay? You try and push that onto somebody who actually really needs to lose weight to better their lives, they're going to go, absolutely not. It's not going to happen. So it depends on how you look at it. I don't think for most people it's necessary. And I speak from experience. Like if I showed people what I ate in the day, they'd be like, oh, no, you didn't eat that. That's not healthy. Like that's ridiculous.
See
like
what
you
I
eat,
eat.
you just eat chicken and broccoli. I know you do. You're lying. It's not. I honestly am the guy who like has egg and cheese wraps for breakfast. I'll have a sandwich for lunch. I'll have a Tim Tam every single day. So my diet is by no means like traditionally like healthy. But it works for me.
Yeah.
It does work for me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think it really comes down to the person because, like, I know for me, I'm a fairly extreme person.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm all in, or it's like I'm not going to bother.
Yeah,
at all
yeah.
Type thing. So, like with my diet, I've changed it quite a bit the last like
saw.
3-6 months, as you can tell.
Mate, I saw.
Currently, I'm on a carnivorous diet, so it's
Good
like
for the
just,
views.
Just me.
I'm watching.
So it's just meat at the moment. But when I'm like not doing that diet, I've pretty much cut out most processed foods. I don't really eat much grains anymore. It's like I'll eat meat, dairy, and fruit, and it's like for me, I feel pretty good because I don't necessarily derive my happiness from eating food. But I know there's a lot of people out there where it's like you want to sit down of an evening, turn on the TV, have some tea, have some biscuits. Like
Yeah.
I used to be there. Like it's an Italian background I have.
Yeah.
So it's like having some tea with biscuits
Sounds
is
yum.
nice, right? So but no, I've got to a point where I've refined my diet quite a bit. So it is pretty restrictive, but for me, like it makes me quite happy because I feel quite good, and I know that it takes quite a bit of discipline to have this diet. So it works well for me, but I know the majority of people out there it's just not going to work.
For sure. And you know what? Like, I'm not one to like slam any diet at all. I'll always say like, if keto works for you, great. If carnivore works for you, fantastic. If you like fasting, brilliant. What I will say is, unfortunately, there's so many individuals who are following a certain diet just because they feel they have to. And they always just end up going round and round and round about and get nowhere.
Yep.
Whereas I can pull up a lot of people and say, hey, you actually don't have to do that. Like you can live like you can eat a normal food. And so it does depend on the individual, but I'm never somebody that I'll rip on keto and stuff just for fun on my reels. I did it today, actually. I'll post it tomorrow. So there you go. But if it works for you, it works for you. I'll always say that if you don't feel like what you can do is a long-term thing, then it's probably not for you. Because I've never woken up feeling like I'm on a diet. I just wake up and do my thing.
Neither.
Yeah.
I eat Hungry Jacks every day. So
Yeah.
I had a massive eye opener. I don't know if you know who, you probably don't because it's like Cali, but there's a guy called Ilias who he's French athlete, and he posted like his first vlog ever. He's massive athlete, one of the biggest athletes in the world. Huge following on Instagram, whatever. Jacked as like one of the strongest in front lever. He posted his first vlog yesterday, I think, or the day before on YouTube. Him like just doing his whole daily thing, going to Macca's, getting a burger and fries and shit.
Yeah.
Straight after training, then gets home, eats like all this garbage out of the fridge. He's like, I'll just show you like what I eat during the day. He's just eating all this rubbish. Massive eye opener for me because I'm like,
for sure.
It's whatever works for you. Like
It
there are
is.
some athletes who are at the top of their game who follow the most strict thing, like can't eat this, can't eat that, have to eat this, have to eat that. Then there's some that don't. There's a whole spectrum of
Definitely.
what works. So
And I think sometimes if things are too like extreme and there's somebody who's like, you know what, it's this way or no way. If you don't do this, you're like going to die next year. This is when it becomes a problem. This is when people start questioning things. This is when people get eating disorders, etc. So like my approach on everything is like, and this is factual. if you want to like have success with like a maintainable healthy weight, you just want to eat 80% nutrient dense food, which just ticks boxes like fresh meat, veggies, eggs, etc. We all pretty much know what nutrient dense foods are. And then the other sort of 20%, have a bicky, have a bit of ice cream. You just don't switch the ratio around the other way. Then you're going to run into some issues.
Yeah.
So I think for most people, that's the best approach. It's like, oh, okay. So you just can't be too gluttonous with the snacks. It's just, I didn't make the rules. And I always say that to my clients, I'm like, I didn't make the rules. I wish it wasn't that way, but it's just, that's how it's science.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, the advice you give on calories overall and just knowing, okay, this food has this many calories, this food has this much, and you'd never really know looking at it. You can't really tell. You got to kind of look at the macros and then you realize, like, if you're smart about it, you can design your diet in a way that you can eat still
Definitely,
a fair bit of junk, but still.
Well, I know somebody's off the mark just when I'm talking to them. They'll say to me, I'll say, okay, what do you eat in a day? I have a really healthy breakfast. I have a protein smoothie. I put a banana in, flaxseed oil, peanut butter, oats. I'm like,
So many.
Bro.
I'm like, Sharon, we're talking a 1,500 calorie protein shake to kick your day off. You're 60 years old. You're 155.
No breakfast.
You're 155 centimeters. You're blowing your calories in that protein shake. So even though some foods like healthy,
That's what I was on.
they're still calorically dense.
That's what I was
I
on
love
to put on
peanut
10
butter.
kilos in
I
6
won't
months. I
lie.
was on one of those every day.
Yeah.
Sharon's over here having it as a morning breakfast.
Sharon's having it for morning tea. That's like,
Man.
I'm giving that to someone when they want to bulk up. So yeah.
Real.
But if you don't know, you don't know.
That's
so
it.
I think that's why like social media now is cool. Like if you can just give some good basic information, and that just comes back again to like simplifying things. People don't know that peanuts have got a heap of calories in them. Avocado. Now they know. Start to lose weight. People message me like every day telling me that they've lost weight. Who just follow me. They're not even clients.
Yeah.
I'm like, far out, send us $5 or something.
How good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it crazy as well how some people's like caloric intake for maintenance is like vastly different to other people.
For
Me
sure.
personally being someone who needs crazy amounts of calories to maintain.
What's your calories?
Normally my caloric intake is just over 3,000 calories a day.
Yeah, right.
I'm 62 kilos.
Yes,
or 63
well, that is crazy.
kilos.
Like, I think I have about 3,400
yeah,
a day,
yeah,
but 10 years older, that might have something to do with it.
it's crazy.
I would say, Blake is definitely special in that regard. Like he's definitely the skinniest, but he requires so many calories even just to maintain.
Yeah.
But also to a degree, you're also really bad at eating and you eat really slow. So I think that probably also makes you feel like you're eating a lot more. than what
No,
you
because
could
I
be
track
eating
my
as well.
calories. I know.
But no, for sure. Like it's a high metabolic rate or in terms of
Yeah. I need like
caloric
3,500
intake,
to make decent weight gain.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can be surprising, eh?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But once you get on a roll, and I've noticed when I train more and do more, I used to have like this idea that the more I did, the more I would burn. And so then I would need to eat more to maintain my weight. But it actually works in reverse. So the more I do, the hungrier I get.
Yeah.
And then I eat more and then I actually put on weight rather than the other way around.
You'll learn so much as the years go on, like even about training, right? So I used to kill myself in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. And this comes back to like, I thought the more I did, the better my result would be.
Yeah.
Like legs, like 20, 30, 35 sets. Just can't walk for like a month. Whereas now, I'll go into the gym, I'll do 12 sets. Sometimes I'll do 8 sets. I'm out of there in like 30 minutes. Better results.
Yeah.
Stimulate, don't annihilate. There's a time and place, but you do not have to actually train as hard as you think to achieve result. You can't just go and like bludge, but there comes a point of like diminishing results.
Returns, yeah.
Returns. Like just because you keep going hard doesn't mean you're going to get a better result.
Yeah, Kelly's like that for sure.
Yeah, if you understand the body, how muscles work and everything, you've just got to hit that fine point, put it to bed, leave it alone, stop kicking it. It's dead already.
That's it. It's even more extreme with Kelly, I think, because it's a strength sport.
Yeah.
When you train for strength, you don't want to
But you don't want to be
damage
sore.
the muscle. You literally don't want to damage the
Like
muscle.
what I did. I'm so damaged.
So like if you're training for hypertrophy, you do want some sort of damage to the muscle because then you'll get the hypertrophy effect. But with strength training, you pretty much don't want to do that almost at all.
Yeah.
And so like with my training, I grease the groove, which is basically I train like you probably barely ever see me at the park because I don't train like a full training session at all ever.
Yeah.
Basically, I train maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the day for about 10, 15 minutes.
Just little like micro sessions.
Yeah, exactly. Because that way I never fatigue my muscle to the point of like failure and destroy it enough that it gets sore at all.
Yeah.
For me, learning the front lever, like greasing the groove was incredible for it.
Just doing it more.
Yeah, like that. I had a major like turning point for my progress with calisthenics. I realized getting the front lever wasn't about training more, it was just doing it consistently.
Yeah.
So I'd do a little bit every single day. I did that every single day without missing a day for, at least like 3-4 months. And then I had it like I managed to get it extremely quick. Whereas in the gym, it's like go to the gym for 2 hours. Always has to be 12 reps minimum. Otherwise I'm cheating myself. I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
3 or 4 sets, 2-hour session, just going hard. But it doesn't particularly work that way so much with calisthenics.
I suppose like if you're like just doing it a little bit every day, say a bit of front lever every single day, over the span of a week, your training volume is actually just as high, if not higher, but you just didn't compress it all into a period where you were like experiencing that like overloaded fatigue. So it's just like, I kind of describe it to people sometimes as like, once you've used your knife, just sharpen it up, pop it back. Instead of just like killing it at the end of the week because you've been slacking, just a little bit. It's so true. I do little things like that consistently in my whole life. Like I will go to my staircase inside and just hang off it for a minute just because I think it's a good thing to do because there's so many random things. Or I'll sit on the floor with my legs crossed because I know that if I don't do that regularly, I'll be, my mobility will be not great when I'm older. So tiny little micro things that I do on top of my training that kind of complement. Like I've always done that sort of stuff, which I think is cool. Step up onto a ledge with my left leg because it's my least dominant. I never switch off. Yeah. It's quite sad.
He needs to do
We're all
more
the
of that.
same. We literally
Yeah, no,
just
you
in our
guys
heads
are like, yeah, I
permanently.
do that too.
Yeah, Isaac needs to actually do that, but with his right leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
the
getting
snap one.
Yeah.
Who?
Lots of rehab.
You need to make up like a cool little video for that, like bit of music behind it, like snap. I don't know.
The remix.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's got some more reels around that are just sitting there in the bank waiting to be uploaded.
You've got like a lifetime's worth of content just with that snap foot.
Yeah, I could milk it.
You could milk that. You could like set up a separate account and see how it goes.
It's
Like
too fresh in people's mind. I'm
Do you
waiting
have-
for them
do you
to
have-
forget, and then I'll just one day.
Do you have your phone
whip it out.
handy? Do you want to show him that reel you showed me?
Nah, I'm gonna save it. I'll wait till people have forgotten, and then I'm just gonna bang it in.
oh, sorry,
So sneaky
snap
with
foot
it.
guy.
You're so sneaky with it, Isaac.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like you're sort of dude who's got like some master projects like under the I don't know. There's a lot
visionary.
Yeah. Like I feel there's a lot going on up here, isn't there?
No,
It's
there's
either a lot
there's
or
a
there's
lot.
nothing.
There's
And
Oh,
there's
really?
Yeah.
nothing.
There's nothing going on up there, but there's just a vision.
He's like 100% action and 0% planning or thought.
I work
It's
through.
like you can never think what he's.
I work
he's-
through the subconscious. So like I have a bunch of stuff that's boiled in here, but it's so boiled in there, I can't know about it or else it'll destroy me.
Wow.
So
It's
I
inaccessible.
can't know about what I know or else
Is
I'll
there,
just
there's like
break down.
there's like
so true.
You should watch our
He just doesn't
podcast 2
plan, he
episodes
just-
ago. We
yeah.
went through and described the way we see each other, all 4 of us.
yeah.
And what we said about Isaac is literally that. He's a visionary. And if you could take everything that's in his head out and put it on a map, you'd know exactly what's going to happen in the next 20 years
yeah.
to the day, to the minute.
Yeah, I feel like there's some complexities. There's more layers.
But even he doesn't know what it looks like in
It's
his own
crazy.
head. It's buried somewhere inaccessible.
It's like I'm just
Your
following a
mind, your mind
compass.
is hiding it from you.
Yeah, from me.
It's like, yeah, there's 2 people.
Yeah, there's always like a year delay as well. So I make goals of what I want to do. Like back in 2020 when I was stacking meat in the shelves at Coles, I was like, I want to build a community. And then at that time, it didn't happen until a year later. And it's like, it's so random. Like things just happen, but I don't know.
Like you
what's
decide you want to
happening.
do something, you don't plan it, but then later on it just ends up
It
happening.
just happening,
and
it's
then, I
happening,
remember
yeah.
I wanted to do this. Oh, I ended up doing it.
Yeah.
Like you've been working in your sleep. just like doing it and you don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
The most fascinating person I've ever come across.
Yeah, no,
Literally the most.
I'm
It's
seeing
not even
some
close.
fascination.
The fact that he sleeps on the floor is enough.
You sleep on the floor?
You don't know this?
No, true story. Okay, this is a true story. My wife, she's not the best sleeper. She has trouble sleeping. So sometimes I'll sleep downstairs just so I don't wake her and stuff because I'm an early riser. But my stepdaughter gave me this rug, and I looked at it. I'm like, this looks comfy, and I laid on it. I was like, that is more comfortable than laying on a bed. So I too am a partial floor sleeper.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you sleep on the hard floor?
No, I sleep on the gym mat, yoga mat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
On your back side? Back.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
sleep
I
on
end up
that.
on my side in the morning though. I just sleep. I kind of roll over.
I can appreciate the floor now after meeting Isaac because I love to have naps on the floor. I don't sleep on the floor generally, but like a weekend nap, like boom, flour, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
It's like floor's so
I
good.
think it's a guy thing.
Dude,
Dude, like not often do you see a chick be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get on the ground for a floor nap." They like get in bed and they like it's all traditional. Guys like, "Nah, floor me up."
Literally up.
Yeah, when we first moved in and Tyler wasn't here yet, that room was Isaac's, and he actually just moved everything out, set up our podcast in that room.
In there.
And then he just sleep outside, like near the dining area. He's got a little, you call it his den.
Oh, yeah.
So he's sleeping on the floor, and he's just got this whole room, and that's meant to be his bedroom, but he's like, nah, we'll put the podcast in there.
Yeah. So some abnormalities going on in this house, but I see them as probably pretty normal.
75% Isaac.
So yeah, it kind of makes sense why we all end up moving here together.
Yeah.
We're a little bit special in our own way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what creates greatness. I remember having tantrums as a kid. I still remember having tantrums as a kid. And I'd like end up on the floor. So maybe it's some like sort of childhood thing that just hung with me. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Don't have to
agree.
worry
Better
about.
for you.
I
Yeah,
do-
you
I do
don't
it
have to
all the
worry
time
about
now.
like it being too hot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Do you ever notice that? Like you
It's hot in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the floor, you can, if you're cold, you just get more blankets.
Yeah. No, fair
Just
call.
toss them to the side. Yeah.
Yeah, no. You don't have to justify it to me. I'm fully into the floor sleeping.
Yeah.
That's awesome. First time I've met another floor sleeper.
Yeah, 100%. Like legit 50% of the time.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
It's like a mat like that thick.
Yeah.
It's great.
Cushion?
Like for my head
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah.
You need-
Cushion?
Yeah, of course. Two.
Oh.
I got two.
Okay, yeah.
I
Like,
need
if
it
you're
for
like,
this-
no,
Yeah,
no.
you can't.
Sinuses.
Otherwise, you can't sleep on your side. hey?
Sinuses.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I love sleeping on my back too. That's when I do my best sleeping.
Yeah,
But if I
yeah.
sleep on my back, I'm snoring all over the place, and my wife hates me. It's not good for anybody. So
Yeah, back sleeps are the best,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. What's cooking back there?
It smells good. Hey,
Is that
I
your?
don't
Is
know.
that your?
Tyler's carnivore as well.
Tyler's gone carnivore.
I'm carnivore.
Well, just
as
for
well.
this month, this
I'm
whole
not.
month, where strictly carnivore.
Okay.
Except
Is-
for like,
I'm on
he's
the
on
Hungry Jack's
Jack's
diet.
Yeah. Okay. You're making up for everybody.
Yeah.
So what's behind the carnivore?
I just Jordan.
Just
Uh,
yeah.
I just want to know.
How do you feel? How do you
Yeah,
honestly?
Okay, we discussed this last podcast, but for
Be
We
me,
real.
haven't discussed this too much about Tyler, and I'll let them speak first.
Alright,
'Cause I
I
probably have
feel-
a bit of a bias.
I feel worse than I usually do when I'm on carbs, but I'm consistently worse. So there's no fluctuations on whether I'm really good or really bad.
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
just,
sense.
I'm just below the line, but like all the time.
Yeah. You definitely will feel a bit of a strength decrease.
Me personally, no. I know that is very common though. You feel a little bit flat. I know for me, like the first couple of days getting into ketosis, a little bit flat. We're like 10 days in now. I would say you probably need to get 2 to 3 weeks in where you can get to a point where it's like everything is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to adapt. Me personally, like I maybe this month one day I noticed where I was like overly a little bit weak, but nothing abnormal. I would say strength's really good. Energy levels really good. Sleep's always amazing for me. Like I can knock out in 2 minutes. So it's yeah, for me it's good. I notice as well if I have a carb heavy meal, I'll definitely feel
Tired.
really tired.
Yeah.
Like I'll crash hard after that.
Yeah.
So typically when I train, I have no food. Usually if I'm fasted, I'll train the best. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I'd perish. I honestly reckon I
Really?
would.
I would as well.
I would just absolutely. I would crumble.
So would I.
Yeah.
Look, I
shrivel
don't
up.
know what my macros are at the moment, to be honest, but I reckon I'd have at least 300 plus grams of carbs a day.
But
Yeah,
you,
wow.
you know what, Mitch? Like I used to have like 8 servings of fruit a day back in my Sydney
Oh, I
house.
love my fruit.
And I like scoop ice cream out of the tub, and I'll eat chocolate, and then I eat like sour straps. I love all that.
Yeah.
But I just tried the carnivore diet just as a challenge, and
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact
yeah,
that you guys
like
are doing it.
it's just been normal. My body just used fat as energy instead.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to hear perspectives because, like, just to completely eat one thing to hear what people are going through. So it'd be interesting to like get the month recap.
yeah, yeah.
You like the honest review after a month.
February they have to go vegan.
Oh, you guys should just do random months of like have a fasting challenge.
Fasting challenge.
vegan month. Jordan, I'm vegan.
That'd be the hardest.
Oh,
Like if
eating
there was-
raw vegetables.
If there was one that I like wouldn't want to do,
Yeah.
it would be I would
Yeah,
rather
no
fast
way.
than do the
Yeah,
vegan
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I
For
remember.
me-
I remember years ago I watched the Game Changer. You guys seen the Game
Yeah,
Changer?
yeah, I watched it.
Okay, this was back
Yeah.
when I was vulnerable, and anyway,
Yeah, I honestly
watched
believed
it.
it for a while.
Yeah, I'm like I am a horrible person. I'm a horrible meat eating bastard. All right. Anyway, I went. No joke. Hand on heart. I went down to Aldi and bought. I bought all these ingredients to make this like vegan like stir fry.
Yeah.
I made it. I tasted it. I tipped it straight in the bin. And that was the end of it. And then on reflection, looking back at some of that stuff from the Game Changer, how he's like, yeah, when I was like eating meat, I could only do the battle rope for like 30 seconds. Now I can do it for a month.
It was so biased.
Cut it out. Stop it. Stop that.
Netflix-
Stop it.
Netflix is the worst for like woke propaganda. I'm not sure
Oh,
if
it's
you're aware of what
bad.
the whole woke ideology
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Disney's
like-
been pretty bad as well.
Yeah,
But we
that
won't
they
get into
promote
it.
that side so much, but they don't give like the full picture. So, yeah, but when I watched that as well, I was actually like, because I'm a very science-based person, it seemed logical the way they described it.
Yeah,
but
they got me.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I'm gonna still eat meat. I still love meat, but now I realize it's not really the full story.
Yeah. No, but I think it's cool that you guys are doing it. Like I said, I wanted it at the end of the month recap. You guys should have gone and done like blood tests and like done some stats and
Yeah, that's a
whatnot.
good point because I've planned to do. I was gonna do a blood test before we started, but everything was closed, and then I was like, I'll just do one at the end. So I actually have a referral. I'm gonna get one at the end because I eat lots of butter as well. Like
Yeah.
I just eat straight butter on its own. And anytime
Crazy.
I
the
tell
cooking, like the chunk. It
Yeah.
just, it's cooking butter. Takes
I
bites
put in
out
my
of it.
coffee as well.
Oh man, my God,
You put in your coffee.
yeah,
look,
butter
gag
in my
me.
Because
coffee.
you can't have sugar in it.
I
Yeah,
feel
not
like
right
I
now,
feel
no.
like I'm gonna come back here in a month's time to do like the like 1 month reveal of the carnivore diet, and you guys are like, yeah, man, it was really good, but like your eyes are kind of bleeding, and like you're just trying to like talk yourself into that it was great.
To be fair, I like for most people, I don't think it's an optimal diet. Once I'm done this, I'll go back to what I was doing before, which is it's coined animal based, where
Yeah.
it's like you eat your fruit, meat, dairy mainly. You don't really eat grains, but it's like that way you get a bit more of a balance because you're getting
Yeah.
plenty of your nutrients, and you still get your carbs, you get your vitamin C, and you get your fiber still. So I'll go back to that, but I feel like that is very sustainable. But carnivore, it's like you probably want to be eating some liver or getting some supplements if you wanted to do it long term. I'd
Yeah,
say.
right.
Yeah.
I think it's hardcore.
You on any supplements?
Nah, I use creatine, 5 grams of creatine, and protein. I've never been huge on supplements. Like I'm under the impression like unless you've got a deficiency
Yep.
in something, then what's the point?
Yep.
You know, people that's taking like vitamin C and magnesium and all sorts of stuff for like no reason.
Yep.
A, you probably don't need it, and B, like I just see it as an unnecessary expense.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
with the supplement industry, a lot of it is a big scam
course.
because what you realize is they don't have to undergo any FDA testing to put
Yeah.
their product out on the
Yeah.
shelf.
Yeah.
So it's like they can put a tiny little amount of one ingredient, not even nearly enough to have a physiological effect, put it on the label and then say, hey, we've got this ingredient which does this, but it doesn't even have enough to actually elicit that effect.
Yeah.
Put it on the shelf, market it like it's some special magical thing, and then at the end of the day, it ends up just being placebo most of the time.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
it's a huge scam. Like 99% of supplements are just a waste of time. And I always say to people who are at the start of their like health journey, one thing you don't want to do is go walk to a supplement store because you'll walk out $1,000 poorer and you've got like test boosters, pre-workout, post-workout, nighttime protein, morning protein. It's out of control.
Yeah.
All the stuff that people seem to like be really concerned about is stuff that I've never, ever thought about doing across my mind.
Yeah.
It's just I think too many people lean towards things to like, oh, that's what I need to get. It's like, no. You don't need to go to a sup store. You need to work on your habits first.
Yeah.
You don't actually ever need to go to a sup store. Like I wouldn't say I'm sponsored, but I'm like affiliated with My Protein. Okay, I get a little bit of a commission out of all of the protein that goes through like my discount code and all that sort of stuff. But even then, I'm probably like not the best ambassador for it because people hit me up and go like, "Do I need protein?" Like, only if you feel like you need it. Are you getting enough protein? Like, if you're getting enough protein through food, no, you don't need it. I use it just for pure convenience, and I like smoothies. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary for a result. You don't need to do it.
Yeah, there's definitely an appeal for like extreme things. So like keeping it simple, even with diet. Like I don't know, do you know who Gary Brecker is?
Nah.
So he's a guy basically worked for insurance companies as like a mortality expert. So he'd predict the mortality of people for insurance companies.
He's a human biologist.
Quit his job doing that, and now he's a human biologist, and he basically makes his living and dedicates his life to helping people and educating people on what truly is healthy and unhealthy because he's got that background in predicting basically when people are going to die.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to meet him.
You should definitely suss him out. He's super interesting.
The reason why he's getting so big right now is he focuses on fixing the root cause, not just medicating the symptoms.
Yeah, of course, which makes sense.
And his big thing is a lot of these problems that we medicate with, all that really needs is the proper nutrition and understanding of what your body is lacking.
Yeah.
And most of the time, these physiological problems are coming from a nutrient deficiency, which can be as simple as supplementing the right thing. But you first got to figure out what that deficiency is. So it'd be, getting test or, usually it's getting a test of some sort. And then, okay, I'm deficient in this because of my genetics. I have this mutation, which basically I can't process a certain nutrient. So I need a supplement with this. Now I can process this nutrient, and then it has a chain reaction, which can then allow the body to function normally.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think so many things in so many industries just get medicated, whereas no one actually looks at the problem. It's like I see it all the time with like physios, for example. People continuously go into the physio or the chiro. Like I'm going there every single week for like the last 2 years. It's like, hang on just 3 seconds for me.
Yeah.
You have to work on the reason why you've got that weakness or that there's something else that you have to fix. Going and getting, and I'm not ripping on chiros or physios. There's a time and place, but I think a lot of the time, like, okay, perfect example. Toot my own horn here. My brother lives in Canada. He's been complaining about his back for ages. He's been seeing this back specialist where they stretch him and do all this sorts of stuff. And I was like, mate, I'll give you a simple gym program. Start doing this. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm going to hurt myself. Mate, just follow it. We got to get you stronger. 1 month later, how's your back? Oh, good.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I
no crazy exercises either. Just basic, safe, smart movements.
I love my physio because I go to him. I go to him and I don't expect to just be fixed then and there. I go to him because I want to figure out what's actually at a physiological level, what's actually happening and why is it causing this problem. And then what do I have to do to then fix it? And he's like, he gives me these exercises. I'm like, okay, so I'm doing these exercises and what do they actually do? And he's like, okay, they do this and this and this. I'm like, okay, perfect. I know now. So if I get this problem, I do these exercises. And every single time without fail, I follow the exercises and I just repeat them on my own.
Yeah.
And every single time, if I do it long enough, 1, 2, 3 weeks, maybe even up to a month sometimes, it always fixes the problem.
Well, that's good.
And it's like, okay, now if that problem ever comes back, I know these exercises he gave me last time. I just do them and it's like, boom, it's fixed again.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
Like, and I learned and now I've got a skill set where I can basically self-diagnose and then treat based on what he's taught me.
Have you ever been to a physio?
Go in and, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Like 15 years ago.
And you've been training consistently for 15 years and you haven't been to the physio?
No.
Any injuries?
No. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a herniated L4. I didn't do that in the gym. I did that when I was 18, working on a construction site. That gave me grief for many, many years until I started being smarter about things, listening to my body. Maybe don't do a 3-plate squat when your back's flared up, things like that. So it just came down to listening to my body and being smarter about things. But yeah, the back injury I had was like really debilitating for years. Like I'd once a week for a month be stuck in bed for a few days. And I was like, hang on, maybe we stop being a construction worker and stop doing dumb things. Yeah.
The same as me. I don't go to a physio at all. I don't think I've ever visited one. I've been training for 5 years. I've gone like rotator cuff problems on both shoulders. And like I did like 2,300 push-ups in one day and destroyed both my elbows and like done my wrists. I didn't even go to the physio for my ankle. Just got my mate to prescribe me some exercises. I'm not going to go to a clinic or anything.
How did that get back? Like you went to the hospital and they gave you a whistle and what was the story there? Sorry to bring up the past.
The break wasn't actually as bad as it looked. It was mostly a dislocation. So once it got put back into place, the ankle was straight. So the break was.
Well,
the break was mostly.
It was
but it's like
you look so.
nothing.
You looked uncomfortably comfortable with the situation
because I wasn't.
Because I watched it and like I'm like I'm looking at the ankle I'm like that's a concern. But then I was also concerned about how relaxed you were. It's like you're like I did it again.
Yeah, because there
Super
was
chill.
no pain.
Master of your emotions.
There was no pain.
It's like that second person in you took over.
He's so stoic. Like no emotional expression. He's just.
I think my scenario would have been a bit different. I think it would have been frantic.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about when I was on the floor and I looked at my ankle. I was just thinking about what the next 3 months will be like. Oh, hope I'm not going to be like a burden to the boys, or I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to walk properly again? I was a burden. Yeah,
They told me.
All right, so basically, let's do a quick rundown. I got dragged by John and another bloke onto the shade so I can wait for the ambulance to come. And no one in the
Barely
park
anyone
was
noticed because he
freaking
didn't
out.
even like not like oh crap like it was just like oh
Yeah, there's probably like 12 people in the park that day.
maybe
Working
one of them
out.
came over and said oh is he all right? I'm like yeah he should be fine. We called the ambulance. Like that was it.
Yeah, and then they came over. They gave me a green whistle.
Yeah.
And then they snapped it back into place. And I got wheeled into the ambulance and I waited in the waiting room. And then after that, I got a block reduction. So which is and a back slab. So they kind of fixed it extra and then they just put me in the cast and they gave me ketamine.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what kicked things off for you.
No, that was
And he was like I just want to be sober again. I hate this.
yeah. Now
No. Okay, so ketamine, that was an experience because I've never had any drugs in my life besides like Panadol.
Yeah.
And like I've never even tasted alcohol in my life.
Oh, right. That's
So
cool.
I don't even know what like being woozy or anything is. But
Yeah.
ketamine.
Yeah, it's just like straight to the top.
Yeah.
Skipped a few levels.
He thought he was getting constantly wheeled around in the hospital, but he was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
in one room. Just
So like
Yeah.
it's like the buzzing in the room got louder and then the light started becoming brighter. And then I thought I was getting moved to different sections of the hospital at least 4 times when I was actually there the whole time. And then I actually had an allergic reaction to it. So I had a rash on my face and my chest that disappeared quickly. But then the next 3 hours, I couldn't eat a single piece of like lettuce or rice without vomiting.
Really?
Yeah. So that was my experience with Ket. But then moving on, next day surgery, I got like a bunch of metal like screws in here and I got a plate.
Is that forever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stays in there. And I got like a little bar over inside there. And then the next day we went to our mate Hayden's place and I was doing handstand push-ups.
Yeah, we picked him up from the hospital, went straight to our mate's place and training. He was doing handstand push-ups.
Wow.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the story of it.
That's dedication. That's when you know you love your
But it's
craft.
actually helped him quite a bit because then he's just focused purely on planche. He didn't really
Yeah,
have any other
okay.
he
option.
couldn't
And then
walk,
Yeah.
he couldn't cook, he couldn't.
5
do the
months
shopping.
later, he can planche now. Like
There you
he's
go. It was
Yeah.
meant to happen.
improved like crazy. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. Like as you said before, everything happens for a reason. Like
You should
everything
start-
just
You should start a new coaching technique where you just like,
Get injured.
Yeah, coach, I can't planche, and you're like, all right, I got this really good technique for you. Bang.
I've atrophied my calves and atrophied my legs as well. So
There's
It was sorry.
I atrophied my muscles in this leg.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
there's a clip we made of him saying, we're like asking, I was like, do you think you should have a coach? And he was just being silly and was like, no, just get injured.
I
You'll
actually
learn the
saw
most."
that.
And then some guy on Instagram made a clip of it and was basically breaking it down, saying this is bad advice. You should get a coach. And I'm
Oh,
like,
it's
I
good
think
that
he was
someone-
just kind of taking the piss.
yeah. I was just saying
That was the whole plan.
the opposite of every single thing that is bad about coaching. So I was listing everything that was like on the negative, but then when he made that video of me, off like my joke video, then he listed all the positive things.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
just being
that's-
contradictory, and then
Yeah.
someone went.
Well,
and-
there's a question actually. Like, obviously, to be a PT, you need like a PT qualification. Do you have to have any sort of form of qualification to be a Cali coach? Is that a thing?
So there was some a certification system in Australia, but then that's just been like ignored now.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's just standard PT.
Well, I mean, the
Okay.
sport is quite niche, and if you want to get to a level where like you're doing planches, the amount of people in Australia that can planche
It's
would be
very yeah.
very minimal.
Count on two hands,
What would you?
almost.
Yeah, what would you say? Like,
20.
yeah,
20 people
in
in
like the whole
Australia.
country,
Can
probably.
planche.
Yeah.
No way. That's
So-
pretty cool. Like to be like, oh,
Hearing that is just like, fuck, I want to do it, man.
So
bad.
the
I want to do it. But you know what? No joke. And this isn't me being negative. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. Legit. I just don't think that.
That's exactly what's stopping you.
Yeah, but structurally, like I've got heavy legs. That's got to be a disadvantage. Or
There
am
is
I,
some-
am I making excuses?
there's athletes
Yeah.
out.
I'll take that on board.
There's people that are over 100 kilos doing planches. There's maybe a couple of them in the world, but there's some people online that can do it. But obviously it's a massive sacrifice to want to go for that. There's
Yeah,
things you'd have to sacrifice. So it's like, do you actually want it enough to make the sacrifice? And then if it's no, then it's like, yeah, that's fine.
I would have to like just make that more of a priority than what I'm doing.
Well, he's trained only planche
It'd have to
for
be a
the last
sole,
5
a
months.
sole priority.
Basically
yeah.
only planche. He stopped doing pool. He obviously doesn't train any legs. So like,
I've done only planche since.
literally only planche for 5 months.
I've been
to
seeing
get
a lot
that
of
progress.
planching videos from
Yeah.
you on your
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful move.
It makes me feel
Ev-
weak when I see you do it.
It is
I want it really
very,
bad. I'm
very
chasing it
specific.
now that my
Very,
shoulder's all good.
very, very specific.
Yeah.
It's an expression of strength in that specific position. So if you want to get strong in it, you just have to do it.
What are I know it's a combination of everything, but if you had to sort of say like, what is the most specific area that you need strengthened in order to do that? What is it like? What are you feeling switch on there?
All right, it's psoriasis is the first one.
Serratus.
It's just, are these like
is number
muscles?
one.
Yeah, these are
Wow.
muscles you don't even think
No,
about.
it's just a small.
Psoriasis anterior.
Yep.
Yeah, psoriatis
It's the
anterior.
muscle that protracts. So
Yeah.
doing
It's
this,
that
yeah,
motion.
is the
And then
psoriasis.
Boxer's
and then
muscle.
and then it's your wrist, front of the wrist.
I've got fragile wrists. It's not looking good. So
I have
far.
fragile wrists as well, but
Yeah, my
you
wrists
toughen them
so
up pretty
bad.
quickly.
It's like that's all I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it will be it will be like your hip flexor. It's like anterior pelvic tilt.
Okay.
So it's retroversion of your buttocks, which
Yeah.
is like just tensing your butt, while also moving your pelvis down.
right.
You obviously got a strong mention for the deltoids. Obviously, that's like.
Yeah, that's
Huge.
the
Front
But
delta.
then I would
but
say
you
a
don't-
lot of these muscles he's mentioning are like really important.
But you asked like what
need
I
to activate.
feel in. I actually don't
Yeah.
feel it in the deltoid. It's that you think that
Mm. Yeah,
this
makes
is like the
sense.
fulcrum, and you can actually, you actually need to activate it in order to hold that position.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing a planche, that's not what I'm thinking about. This is kind of just there.
Yeah,
Right.
it does it on its own. Whereas all these other muscles he's mentioning, you have to actually actively think about using them.
Yeah. It's complex.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Baseline, very, very complex.
There's a lot happening.
It's mental.
Yep.
So the
Can
technique
you?
is
Are you
crazy.
getting there?
I'm getting there.
It
Okay.
teaches
I'm
you
up
a
there.
lot, though.
So yeah, I'm getting there as well. I was obviously like regressed a little bit when I impinged my shoulder, but Like my best was like a straddle, which is basically just
Gotcha.
legs
Which is
apart.
still cool.
Straddle for about 5 seconds was probably my best, and I'm trying to work back towards that. But I'm just doing heaps of banded stuff.
Yeah.
But I find the pushing movements definitely harder to progress than
Right.
the pulling movements, at least for me. Yeah.
But you can enjoy the sport of calisthenics without ever having the planche. I did that for my first 4 years of training. Like I absolutely love it. But this year I've just only done planche. It's just completely consumed me. Like you can enjoy the other stuff, but as soon as you start wanting to actually get planche, then you rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna like focus on the things that I know I'm good at and just get really good at them.
But it's also never too late.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. Just keep doing muscle ups. I think when I can do like, I don't know, 10 clean muscle ups, that might be my first focus. Man, they fatigue you. Muscle ups. First 3 feel great, and then they just like
It's
they actually gas you.
yeah,
Yeah.
exponentially gets harder. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you think that at my strength level I'll be able to do like 20 muscle ups, but no, I can only do like 12.
I don't know if you should say only. It's pretty good in that.
Well, to be fair, in your comp, didn't you do like 17 or something?
No, I did only 12.
Oh,
I
12.
counted.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you ever do like pull up contests in Cali? Like
Yeah, there's
Like
sets
the
and
reps?
Yeah, sets and reps.
what's a
in
good
comp.
amount of reps in the Cali?
What
Isaac's-
did you get? in your
Isaac's-
last,
I got-
you actually won the last
dominates.
comp.
Isaac dominates the sets and reps comps in Australia.
Yeah, right.
I got 12 muscle ups, then I got 60 dips, then I got 30 pull ups.
30 pull ups.
But that wasn't even the most in the competition. That was just the most like consistent.
This is all
What's
strict
the-
form as well. by
Yeah,
the
yeah, I was
way.
gonna
So it's
say.
like very like if you're doing muscle ups,
like,
there's a
is-
stick here, you can't touch it, and it's like all right. For your pull ups, you got to make sure you get like what is it, chin above the
Yeah,
bar,
yeah.
And is it
fully
Full
locked
lockout.
out. Yeah, you
Full
have to
lockout.
fully lock, otherwise I won't count the rep.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I reckon I'd be able to have a little. I reckon I could come in the realms maybe. Maybe like a top 5, this sort of thing. I reckon I could do 30 pull ups now.
Yeah, I could say
Big
that.
talk,
Yeah,
actually.
considering
I
it-
probably shouldn't have said that, but pull ups I've always been pretty good at.
Rub
Honestly, I
path,
wouldn't
let's go.
I wouldn't be surprised if you beat me for sets and reps. To be honest, because
Your muscle ups are very, very nice.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. They feel better. But no, pull ups, like I will do at least 10 pull ups every single day of my life, regardless of whatever I'm training on that day. Like obviously I've got a gym at home. I've got heaps of like my staircase is just built for pull ups too. So I'm always doing pull ups.
I said on the podcast before, but there's like one exercise that I'll do like just the rest of my life. If I just pick one, I'll just do pull ups. Like
Save
like,
your life.
Yeah, yeah. You just pull ups are just so versatile.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't
100%.
even just pick planche or I wouldn't even pick something else. I just do pull ups.
I think everyone should be able to do one pull up. It's like
Yeah.
an exercise that could literally save your life one day. Like imagine you're hanging off a cliff and you're like, oh damn it, I got no other choice, got to die.
Yeah.
Like one pull up.
It'd be pretty sick if you're hanging off the cliff and then you could muscle up it though. Yeah. Just straight arm.
Yeah, it's power muscle up.
Yeah.
The dream.
You're like, oh no, he's gonna die. Just bang.
Yeah, no, I love pull ups. They're this, and I love when they feel light. I love it when they feel good. Like I've had dreams when I'm just pumping out pull ups like they're nothing. Yeah, legit. Like if they feel a bit sluggish and heavy, they're not fun. But you like to feel good at everything, don't you?
Mm.
Yeah. Good stuff.
It's been a good podcast so far. Do you have anywhere to be?
Probably past your bedtime,
Nah.
is it?
I saw recently that you got. Do you actually go to bed at 7 p.m.?
No, that was like a little bit of a joke. But
You do something at 6 a.m. every day, right? Like you just have to walk.
well, I like weather dependent at the moment.
Yeah.
I do like to get the dogs out and walk. I find sometimes I can get a little bit. I can get in a bad routine. I find that if I wake up and like I just flick through my phone and whatnot, I don't like doing that because it's just not productive and it's just like it's a waste of time. But I'll admit I can fall into the habit of doing that.
So easy.
We all
So
do.
yeah, so if I can like get up, make an effort to like get the dog for a walk, do all that first, get in the office by 7 and be working, that's ideal. That's when I know I'm in the right mindset. I do hate it sometimes when I get up and I just flick through my phone for half an hour. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it's just nonsense. It's rubbish. Like, it didn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
It makes you feel tired as well.
Yeah.
You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that when you flick through your phone too
Yes.
much? You literally
Pinches all your
feel
dopamine.
you feel tired, and that's all it is. We're
Yeah.
just getting little dopamine hits.
Yeah, dopamine pinches.
Dopamine pinches. No, but look, I've never been like a stay up late sort of dude ever. Like, but I get up early too. Like I might say to somebody, like I go to bed at this time. They're like, what? Like, yeah, I get up at like 4. Like, it's just sort of how it works. It's not like fascinating. It's just you stay up later and get up later. I'm the opposite. You know, like on the weekends, I'm always down at Burleigh. Like I'll see most sunrise every single weekend, which is
That's mad.
yeah. It's like my favorite thing to do. Walk the dog, get a coffee, watch the sun come up. I always get good ideas when I just sit out there on the headland and just stare off into the ocean too.
So good.
Especially in the morning because your mind's most active.
It's the best. It is the best. It's the best ever. I sit there, talk to my dog. I'm like, we're good mates, aren't we, buddy? Whisper things in his ear.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I suppose what's my usual bedtime? I'd 8:30, 9 latest.
Wow.
I'm like
But
10.
that's only because to be
Nine.
fair,
9, wow.
that's only when because when I'm sitting at home, I'm not somebody who can just sit up and just watch TV for hours on end. So for me, I'm like, well, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I'll just
Bedtime.
go to bed and like kick on tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just out of like, can't sit there forever and watch TV.
Yeah.
Some people love it. It's not my thing. Yeah. What time do you guys usually go to bed?
I'm probably like 10:30, so
Yeah.
pretty reasonable. But I'm the first to bed every night.
What time do you guys go to bed?
Well, back in Sydney, I used to sleep at 3 a.m.
You'd go to bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I
He's up editing.
I feel
Oh,
most
okay.
creative at night time.
Okay.
When it's like the mood just hits and I have the LEDs and it's like blue and it's like, oh yeah. I feel like just like, working.
That's
But
cool.
but now that I've moved to Burleigh and I do like ice baths and I'm on carnivore and I kind of on strict diet and I'm training really hard, it's actually like almost impossible for me to stay up later than 11
Yeah, okay.
because my eyes just start to close. And like the other night, I passed out on the couch, and then I woke up
Had
at
a
2
heart
a.m.
attack that you're not on the floor.
Yeah, I woke up at
Okay.
2 a.m. and
Was this
trotted
last
trotted
night?
to my den. Yeah, I fell asleep on
The
the couch.
TV was like on blasting as well.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. Tyler kissed me good night, and then turned off the TV.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but like the ice baths, they'll knock you
You
out.
know what? I've never done an ice bath.
Oh,
ever,
Really? Wow.
ever. Like I know.
Best place for it in Goldie.
Where do you guys? Ice
It's
bath?
called P3 Recovery.
go
It's
tomorrow.
literally 5 minutes.
is that-
It's in
let's
Burleigh
go,
Heads
let's go
here.
tomorrow.
It's right next to Stockland's.
Is
Like
when
just
you
across
say
the main road.
when you say ice bath, is it actually ice or is it just cold water?
No, it's
It's-
colder than an ice.
It's
Mediated
cold is it?
temperature. They
It's
make
5
it
to
5 to
10.
10.
I want to go the coldest it can go. First
Yeah,
time
5
ice
to
bath.
10
I just want to
is-
go straight.
It's-
to
Let's
the-
go tomorrow.
I just want to go straight to the top shelf.
My schedule's Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings.
Did you go this morning?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, mad one.
Always
Hey,
Monday,
what do you
Wednesday,
say? Monday,
Friday.
Wednesday, Friday morning.
Yeah, every.
How long do you sit in there for?
So we might be there for like an hour, but they have a hot bar spa as well, so it's like
Yeah.
contrast therapy, 4 minutes each.
Boom, boom.
You keep rotating,
Yeah.
and it's like literally pure euphoria. Especially once you've done it as well, it's like the whole morning you're just cloud nine.
I mean, trust me, once
Especially
you
the
try,
first
you
time.
can never go back.
No, I look.
It's
I've-
addictive.
I've been fantasizing about ice baths for quite a while now. I've just never.
You just need a guide.
I need to be gently guided into the realms, the world of ice
You
bathing.
need taught how to like breathe and control your instincts when you're in it, and just
Yeah.
like have a group of people to push you past that
Whisper
point.
nice things to my ear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we froth it like Tyler and myself. Like we won't miss a day. We have a schedule. We're always there.
What time do you go?
So
You go-
is it 6?
opens
Yeah,
at 6.
6:30. 6:30 we usually go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like 6:30 to 6:45 we'll get there.
How many
And
little
then-
stations do they have?
so
So they got 4 pools. So one's hot, one's warm, one's cool, and then one's the
They
cold
quite big,
ice.
are they?
They
Yeah,
can
like
fit
you
like
can fit
15 people.
yeah,
I can fit 15 people in
in
there.
each. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like proper. It's like kind of like spot like big tubs. Big
Okay.
tubs you can fit, yeah. So and then they just have a
They're more like
clock, and then
pools.
you just
Yeah.
rotate as you please. Then at the end we just do like 15 minutes in the warm, like the hot.
Yes.
It's like a reward. It's like a reward.
Yeah.
Splash each other.
If you go straight into the hot, like at the start, it's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. But then after you jump in the ice for a little while, and then you jump in the hot bath, then it's like, oh, this is heaven.
What did you say the temp was? 5?
5 to
5
10.
to 10 within that range.
Depends on the weather that day. Because sometimes Burleigh gets hot then it'll be like close to that 10.
Okay.
Depends how many people go in it as well.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
when
more-
more people
yeah.
go in it, it gets warmer.
Yep.
Bodies.
And like it's a random question, but is there like an ice bath attire that people wear? Are we talking togs, boardies?
Just whatever you
Boardies.
like. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
whatever-
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you
Just
want.
first timer. I don't want to
Yeah, yeah.
come and be like,
No
Oi,
trackies.
this guy's like not wearing a G-bang. I don't know what the story is.
Just no trackies.
No
I'm-
trackies.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen someone wear budgies yet. No,
Yeah, just
no
Yeah,
they just
actually.
everyone just wears boardies.
just like you going for a swim. I just walk out with my shorts, nothing else in it, and then my towel and rock up and that's it. Jump straight in.
I'm keen. I might come along. I've always wanted to try.
it's an
it.
experience.
I'm excited for you because the first time or the first few times you go is when it's like hits the best as well. Because you get that euphoria, you get that sense of euphoria when you do it. Like I normally
I get the
it.
euphoria every time.
I know a bloke. I was only talking to him recently. He's got off the drugs, right, and he's just started getting into ice baths. And he told me, he's like, I don't know why, but like I'm seriously addicted to them. I think about them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's become his new, hopefully, like his new kind of
Yeah.
rush.
Yeah.
Or
definitely
there's some
get
sort of study how cocaine, right, it will give you like a 2.5 dopamine
Yeah,
boost and it'll last like 20 minutes or something.
yeah.
Whereas an ice bath is the equivalent, but it lasts like 3 hours.
Wow.
So it's like a super dopamine rush, but like you obviously got to work for it, right? Like you go in there and it's like, shit, it's cold. Like your body goes into this almost like a flight or flight response where
Yeah,
your
for
heart
sure.
rate wants to start increasing. You want to naturally breathe more, but then you got to calm yourself to just slow down and relax.
And physical effects, you've noticed anything long term, like, oh, that got rid of that little ailment, or do you think it's more of like a mental thing?
For me personally, I would say more mental thing, but I've definitely heard of lots of scenarios of people like I had arthritis or like inflammation. Since I've been doing this, it's been way less or it's completely gone. People where it's like, yeah, I just recover so much quicker. I don't notice, I mean, it's hard to say because I've been doing it so consistently since we moved up here. It's hard to say the physiological benefits, but I notice every time mentally, it's a huge difference. Like mentally, I'm addicted. Like if I don't have my ice bath, I'm like, fuck, I miss it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See you like hanging around like the ice
Yeah.
box at 7-Eleven or something. He's back. I'm keen. I'm in.
yeah,
I'm in that ice bath.
I'm on my 20th day of training in a row.
dead set.
Yeah, and I go hard.
Yes.
Are you talking about training at the ice?
No, so training in general.
Training
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
But it does help with recovery. It does improve muscle protein synthesis.
Every time I
Yeah,
go
yeah.
there, it's like a Lazarus pit. Like I just reborn.
Love his brain. Like, I didn't wake up today and think that I was going to hear Lazarus pit.
He's got deep pockets. This guy.
Like, I've never heard
Pulls a lot
someone
of
say
shit
it.
out of him.
Yeah, I'm
Mate.
gonna use it in conversation.
That's what a nice bath is to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Part of me wishes I could go in for the first time again. Because like I hated
You
it.
always
The-
live
remember
through me.
I
Live through
hated,
me.
Yeah, I hated the first ice bath, but it was now I'm like, fuck.
And okay, true story. I do not handle cold. Okay.
Yeah, neither.
Like I could be
Yeah.
in a swimming pool in summer and get a little bit of a shake. Like I don't have much body fat, so like me in cold, I would perish. But I'm in.
Yeah.
You'll love it. I'm
I'm
excited,
excited.
for you.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah,
Documented.
we'll let you know when we go.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, usually
I wanna go for
Monday,
the first
Wednesday, Friday,
time.
it's pretty much non-negotiable.
Monday,
At least
Wednesday,
me,
Friday.
Me and Tyler. Yeah, we'll go on weekends sometimes as well.
It's on
Yeah.
Friday.
Huh?
I'm keen to go with Mitch.
Yeah, I'll come
'Cause
Friday.
We've
If
had
you're
lots
guys-
of people come to our house and stay for a bit.
You are sorry?
We've had a few people like come to our house to stay with it. Like
Friends
we were
from
just mates from
Sydney.
Sydney,
Yeah, different
and we've
people.
just been like guiding them through ice baths and like letting them know like how
Everyone
to
that
do
comes-
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Everyone
like-
that comes is like, you have to go P3. It's like, it's
And
it's an
yeah.
initiation rite.
Yeah,
or
it's like a
something.
ritual.
During the comp, we had like all the Sydney boys. It was like 15 of us all in one pool, and we were just like trying to get them to like breathe normally. It's like such an awesome
Yeah,
experience.
I'll actually be interested to see how I like handle it, like how I can bring my heart rate down and my breath and everything, and just the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday will be, I think, around 6 a.m. Maybe just after we'll get there because they start work a little bit earlier. So 6:15.
Yeah, yeah. Early mornings are no issue for me.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, book it in. It's so good.
You
You've been up
going?
for 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm due for one. Yeah.
Same actually. I've been for ages.
It's a date. Nothing like jumping in a pool with just like 5 dudes on a
So
early
nice.
Friday morning.
Yeah,
It's what real
nice.
men do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For real.
Like Vikings.
Like what?
Vikings.
How much shit you got in your pockets, mate? It's so out of pocket.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Nah, book it in. Book it in.
Viking.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Well, that's episode 19.
19. My bloody birthday. There you go. Lucky number. It was meant to be. I was meant to be here. Yeah. It's not my birthday today. I'm saying
yeah.
yeah.
Any final things we want to mention?
Well, follow Mitch Little Academy, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just want some-
Facebook, Instagram. Do you want to shout out your?
Yeah, Mitch Little Academy, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever social media is, I am there. I think I've got YouTube as well. I do. I don't use it, but yeah, you can find me on YouTube as well. Just lifting weights, really. It's not that interesting, but yeah.
You're following with double overnight after this podcast, mate.
What's that?
You're following with double, yeah.
Yeah, boom.
Huge audience we got at the moment.
Yeah. The Cali community are going to be keeping an eye on me right now. They're like, that bloke said he can do 30 pull-ups. I did say it, didn't I? I'm going to have to test that now. I haven't tested my max pull-up in ages,
Saturday after the ice bath, you'll do
Oh,
60.
There you go. Yeah, imagine that.
I'll drop you some really good pull-up tips in
Okay.
DMs.
Yeah. Done.
Too easy.
That's
We
about-
also posted our first vlog, Via Valenti
yeah.
vlog.
Yeah. Have a
On
check
Give
of
it a
that.
watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
So check that
Tyler
one out too.
edited it, and I did a section of it as well. So yeah, check
Nice.
it out. And viavalenti.com for all your Cali products and everything.
Sweet.
New
Awesome.
products on the way soon.
Yes. All right, cut.
Legends.
That was awesome.
Now that was good.